Tonight at 8, a Metro bus fire inside the 9th Street Tunnel in Northwest. This is video from the Fox 5 tower camera showing smoke billowing in the air. There it is. Right now, the 9th Street Tunnel and several roads around it are closed. Let's go to a live picture right now. Multiple fire crews have responded to this fire. You can see the scene right there, the flashing lights, quite the scene right there. Again, a Metro bus fire, and we're told there are reports of no injuries. I don't believe there are any injuries, but again, this information is coming in. This is a live look at emergency crews near the tunnel entrance. Emergency crews are working to evacuate the bus and other people who were reportedly driving in the tunnel at the time of this incident. We have 2 crews on the scene, one near the fire scene collecting information. Be sure to tune in later tonight at 10 and 11 back over on Fox 5 for the latest on this story. Drivers are advised to avoid this area. A Fox 5 News alert from Northeast D.C. Police are investigating a shooting which sent a teenage boy to the hospital. It happened around 5 tonight on the 5300 block of Nannie Helen Burroughs Avenue. These are images from that shooting scene. Right now, there's no word on a suspect description or motive in the shooting. First-degree murder charges have been filed against the suspect in the killing of a young D.C. mother whose toddler was the subject of a brief Amber Alert Wednesday. Tonight, we're learning Hakeem Jones was just released from prison. Fox 5's Bob Barnard is outside Superior Court with more.
D.C. police had originally charged suspect Hakeem Jones with second-degree murder, but in court today we learned that prosecutors have upped that charge to first-degree murder while armed. And prosecutors say there is surveillance video that investigators have that show the suspect Jones and the murder victim together in the hours before the murder. MPD detectives were back on Kenyon Street Northwest today, the apartment building where Jones was found with the victim's 2-year-old son. We were there when Hakeem Jones was arrested less than 2 months after getting out of prison for a gun possession conviction. The murder victim in this case was 25-year-old Jamila Gales. Police list her address as a family homeless shelter in Fredericksburg, Virginia. She was shot to death in an alley off Kenyon Street. Police say witnesses heard an argument before the shots were fired, the suspect wearing a ski mask at the time. Gale's 2-year-old son reported missing for about 12 hours before he was found with her accused killer. Not related at all to the boy, we're told. We spoke to the property manager of the building where the suspect and victim had been staying in the days before the murder.
I do not know. I looked it up on the database, and no, that's not a familiar name that we know of, not our resident.
So you don't know why he was here?
I do not know, but I was just saying to myself the other day that I felt like the crime rate was going down in Washington, D.C., and this happened, so it's very tragic. And I really do hope that justice is served because a mom's life is gone.
We still don't know what the motive in the killing was. A witness says he told Jones to take the victim's son to a nearby firehouse, but Jones took the boy back to that apartment. That's when the Amber Alert was issued. The boy reunited with relatives later in the day. Police say the murder suspect had no relation to the boy. Jones is due back in court here early next month. In the meantime, he's being held without bond.
A 19-year-old substitute teacher is under arrest accused of threatening violence at John Champ High School in Loudoun County. Loudoun County Sheriff's Office says the suspect, Hayden Dollery, identifies as a transgender woman. Dollery is charged with threats of bodily injury. The suspect was taken into custody off school grounds and is currently being held without bond. Police are investigating the death of a man in a car in Southeast D.C. It happened at a Shell gas station on Pennsylvania Avenue. D.C. Fire and EMS pronounced the man dead at the scene. The age of the man is unknown, and police have not released his identity. A pedestrian struck in a hit and run in Alexandria this morning, is hospitalized but said to be stable. Police say the driver later returned to the scene. The crash happened around 2 a.m. on King Street, just north of the metro station. The road was temporarily closed this morning. The collision is still under investigation. The White House says Iran is having a hard time figuring out who their new leader is, which is stalling further peace talks and any potential deal to end the war. In the meantime, tensions in the Strait of Hormuz are ramping up again. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor has the latest.
From masked Iranian soldiers seizing trade ships to American forces blocking Iran's ports and intercepting Iranian-linked ships, the U.S. and Iran are both trying to tighten their grip on the Strait of Hormuz.
We have total control of the strait. They came to us and they said, we will agree to open the strait. And all my people were happy. Everybody was happy except me. I said, wait a minute, if we open the strait, that means they're going to make $500 million a day. I don't want them to make $500 million a day until they settle this thing.
President Trump has now ordered the U.S. Navy to shoot any Iranian boats, even small ones, laying mines in the strait, putting the ceasefire at risk. But there's been little to no progress on peace talks.
I have no confidence that we're going to get anything in the next few days. We don't know who is in charge.
President Trump says Iran is having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is. The infighting between the hardliners and the moderates is crazy. In response, Iran's lead negotiator says, in Iran, there are no radicals or moderates. We are all Iranian. With complete obedience to the supreme leader, we will make the aggressor criminal regret his actions.
I think we're on another verge of another miscalculation here. And they're betting on the fact they kick this can down the road, drag it out. The president will not pull the trigger.
President Trump says there is no time pressure on the ceasefire, but a third aircraft carrier strike group, the USS George H.W. Bush, arrives in the coming days. In Washington,
Senate Republicans take a big step in passing funding for the Department of Homeland Security without Democrats. The Senate voting 50 to 48 today, and part of the plan under budget reconciliation rules. 2 Republicans voted with Democrats against the measure. Alaska Senator Lisa Murkowski, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul.
This is so difficult up here. We can't agree with much. I was in conference the other day, and, you know, we were talking, I'm going to say next week is hell week.
Adding $140 billion to an agency that nobody, to two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country.
President Trump has set a June 1st deadline for Congress to get funding for ICE along with Border Patrol. A major makeover could be coming to the Red Line Metro today. Metro approved a proposal to modernize the train system with new safety walls and automated Metro trains. Fox 5's Tom Fitzgerald is in Friendship Heights with the latest.
This would be the biggest upgrade in the history of the Metro line. It's Metro's oldest rail line, 32 miles in all, but this would really be transformative to what passengers experience when they ride the Red Line. This is all part of a $913 million project, which would not only install barrier wall screens with elevator doors that actually open simultaneously when a train stops at the station, but it would also, now that the board has voted on this plan, allow for the introduction of automated trains, removing train operators from running those Metro trains. Now, the union today say they have qualms about that from a job standpoint and safety perspective. However, Metro officials insisted today this is about improving capacity and improving safety.
All of those things can happen with more levels of automation. Automation, again, doesn't mean no staff. What it means is using technology to get the most out of the infrastructure.
I was surprised when I woke up and heard on the news from you guys that they were moving forward with this in 2032 without having real dialogue with the union.
Now, make no mistake, automated transit systems are nothing new. They are in use in Europe. They're in use in Japan. Around our area, the closest thing is probably the AirTrain out at Dulles International Airport. But a lot of riders told Fox 5 today they have differing opinions about making these changes to the Red Line. Some folks said they welcome automation. They say it would improve safety. Others weren't exactly thrilled about the idea of driverless cars.
I don't want to be nobody's guinea pig. That's all I have to say.
Always supporting Metro, and it's great that they're trying to move into the next centuries.
It almost doesn't matter what it looks like, right? It's good when people can't push you in front of a train.
A lot of people do try to get into the doors, and then what are you going to do if the doors are stuck?
Keep in mind, Metro board approving this today only allows the transit agency to start talking about the federal government about funding for this. If all goes as planned, and there's no guarantee it will, this transformation could take place in the year 2032, 6 years away.
Preservation efforts starting tonight on the George Washington Memorial Parkway. The National Park Service says it will repave between Spout Run Parkway and I-395, as well as between Ronald Reagan Airport and First Street in Alexandria. The work will happen overnight and on weekends. Next week, crews will replace pedestrian crossing medians in the same area. A mass shooting at a mall in Louisiana, what police are saying about the two groups involved, plus Epstein document release, new questions from Capitol Hill about how the Justice Department handles the drop. But first, here's Jennifer Delgado.
Hi there, Tisha. Well, today was a spectacular day, and we have one nice day on the way for tomorrow, but we have a chance of rainfall. We're going to time that out for you and let you know if your weekend is going to be a washout in just a few minutes.
Fox 5 continues to follow breaking news from the district. You're taking a live look right now. A Metro bus fire inside the 9th Street Tunnel in Northwest. Right now, the 9th Street Tunnel and several roads surrounding it are closed, so you want to avoid that area. This is a live look at the emergency crews and the response near the tunnel entrance. You can see several fire crews on scene, several first responders on scene responding to the fire. Metro telling Fox 5 tonight there were no passengers on the bus. There are no reports of any injuries, so that's some good news there. But nonetheless, quite the response here. Emergency crews are working to evacuate other people who were driving in the tunnel at the time when this happened. We do have two Fox 5 crews, one near the fire scene collecting information. Be sure to tune in later tonight at 10 and 11 back over on Fox 5 for the latest on this story. Again, drivers are advised to avoid this area. One person is dead and 5 others are hurt after a mass shooting at a Louisiana mall. It happened this afternoon in Baton Rouge. Police say 2 groups got into an argument at the Mall of Louisiana's food court and then opened fire. Bystanders are among those hurt. Police initially said there were 10 victims, but then clarified there are 6. At this hour, 5 people are in custody. A former police officer arrested for allegedly planning a mass shooting at a New Orleans festival. Christopher Gillum was arrested at a hotel in Florida yesterday. Inside his room, deputies found a handgun and about 200 rounds of ammunition. Investigators in New Orleans flagged Gillum after learning he planned to travel to a festival there to carry out a mass shooting, then commit suicide by cop. He's currently awaiting extradition to Louisiana. The Department of Justice's internal watchdog group is reviewing the department's compliance with the law mandating the release of the Jeffrey Epstein files. The Inspector General's review, the office will focus on how the department collected, reviewed, and redacted materials. The files were made public under the Epstein Files Transparency Act that required the government to open them. Yesterday, Maxwell again asked a judge to vacate her conviction. That's Ghislaine Maxwell, and also asked to be released from prison. The Justice Department, meanwhile, is taking major action against international scam operations targeting Americans. DOJ officials say the Scam Center Strike Force is going after criminal networks based in Southeast Asia. These groups use online relationships and fake investment schemes to steal billions of dollars from victims in the United States. The DOJ says they're now seizing assets, shutting down websites, and going after the leaders of these operations.
This is economic homicide. We have seized the sites and we are coming for the rest. These criminals thought they were untouchable because they were overseas. Today, we are proving them wrong, and we are just getting started.
So far, 2 Chinese nationals have been charged in connection with the scam. Turning to the weather now, here's a live look outside from our Fox 5 Sky camera in Reston, Virginia, and what a treat we are looking at right now. Beautiful sunset after what was really a gorgeous spring day. Hopefully, folks had a chance to get out and about and enjoy it all because it's going to be a bit chilly come this weekend. Jennifer Delgado joins us now with a look at our forecast. Jen.
Hi there, Tisha. Well, you can see the numbers here. We go from 82 degrees on Friday to a high of only 60 degrees on Saturday. So we're going to be 20 degrees cooler as we go into this weekend. And we're going to talk more about the potential for another warm up on the way. But the average high for this time of the year is 71 degrees. So we've been spoiled with the warmth today. We'll get more warm weather around for tomorrow. And then as we look ahead for tomorrow, chance for a few late day showers. And then we're going to be a lot cooler, and we're also going to be looking at wet conditions for your Saturday and even into early Sunday. View outside, this is out of Reagan Airport, and it has been a spectacular afternoon. We have a few clouds around 75 degrees, and the winds are from the south. Dew points are in the 50s, meaning it's very comfortable outside. Now, it is about 8:20 right now. We had sunset right around 7:50, and if you were hoping to see Jupiter and how close it is right now to moon, I tell you what, as soon as you get done watching this, go out there and check it out. It's going to be a really nice celestial event indeed. High today was 84 degrees. That was more than 10 degrees above the average. And for the month, we've had a little over an inch of rainfall. We need the rain, but we just don't want it on the weekend. Unfortunately, that's what we're going to be looking at. Number right now, 72 degrees in Gaithersburg, 75 in Quantico, and then 80 degrees in Westminster. Still holding on to the warmth, and that means for tomorrow morning, it's not going to be as cool. As we look at your satellite and your radar combined, now, these are the clouds that you're looking at. They're going to continue to thin out, and then we have a few spotty showers to our northwest. Those will continue to fizzle out now that we have had sunset. But what we're being dominated by right now is a boundary system just to our northeast, and that is going to be hanging out, and that is what's going to cool us off as it slides back as a cold front. So we look at the setup for your Friday. Again, we will see the warmth coming in with those southerly winds, highs in the lower 80s, and then eventually aerial pressure is going to be charging in from the south, and that is what's going to bring us some beneficial potential chances for some precip for the area. We look at our planner ahead for tonight. A few clouds around. Tomorrow morning, you're waking up to the sunshine. Don't let it fool you, because we do have that chance for some isolated showers and thunderstorms. So we're going to show it to you. This is right now at midnight, showing you that it's going to be quiet, dry for the kids heading out to school tomorrow morning. And then in the midday hours, we're going to try to pop a few isolated showers and maybe a thunderstorm or two. And then as we go through the afternoon into the evening, on your Saturday, we see another round setting up right around 12:30 in the afternoon, and then Saturday evening. And then eventually we will dry things out for your Monday. And then we get another chance for rainfall. All right, here's your forecast for the weekend. 64 high on Saturday, 63 degrees on Sunday. Yeah, you're going to actually need to put on a coat again this weekend after rocking shorts over the last couple of days. And look at our temperature. For tomorrow, 81 degrees. That's typically what you would see for the month of June. So we move it ahead to your 7-day, 80s and 60s, showers around off and on. It's not going to be a total washout. Then we jump ahead to your Monday, a dry day, some clouds, rain possible Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Tisha.
Good to know. Quite the mixed bag there weather-wise, Jen. Thanks so much. Coming up, the federal government could be in the business of operating a low-cost airline. The $500 million Spirit bailout being proposed by President Trump, plus reducing distracted driving, the new technology which aims to keep you focused on the road. Happening right now in Pittsburgh, round one of the 2026 NFL Draft. The Las Vegas Raiders had the first pick. They selected quarterback Fernando Mendoza from Indiana University. The 2025 Heisman Trophy winner led Indiana to its first national championship. Mendoza finished the season with 41 passing touchdowns. The Washington Commanders have the 7th overall pick and total of 6 picks. The Baltimore Ravens have the 14th overall pick and a total of 11 picks. Coming up at 6:45, we take you to the Washington Commanders official draft party. Fox 5's Josh Rosenthal will join us live with all the excitement. Meanwhile, the Trump administration is reportedly closing in on a $500 million bailout deal for Spirit Airlines. But as Fox Business correspondent Edward Lawrence tells us, lawmakers on Capitol Hill are pushing back.
The president says, take a look, and he is my boss, and so we will take a look.
The White House is reportedly closing in on a rescue plan for Spirit Airlines, which said earlier this week it could be just days away from running out of cash. Officials tell Fox Business the deal could include a $500 million loan in exchange for the government taking partial ownership, similar to the 10% stake of Intel it acquired last year.
The aviation industry is very important to this president and this White House. Millions of Americans depend on it. We want to see the best possible outcome.
Spirit has been struggling to emerge from a second bankruptcy as it battles rising costs, including a major spike in jet fuel prices. But the White House says the airline's troubles began when the Biden administration blocked its merger with JetBlue. Democrats on Capitol Hill pushing back on that criticism.
We need to stop the business of consolidation. People then rake all the profits off the top, leave a shell of a company behind, and expect the U.S. taxpayers to come in and prop them up.
The plan also faces significant opposition from Republicans, many saying the government shouldn't be in the business of running a low-cost airline.
I don't know anything about it, but I wouldn't be very comfortable with it, so we'd have to see. I'd want to know more facts.
Terms of the deal are still being negotiated, but reportedly it could give the government a large stake in Spirit. At the White House, Edward Lawrence, Fox Business.
April is Distracted Driver Awareness Month, and Big Tech is giving a hand to Big Auto, developing technology that can help cut down on crashes by 85%. It includes new driver attention monitoring systems designed to reduce distractions, with an emphasis on keeping drivers' eyes on the road through screen placement and size. More than 3,000 Americans are killed each year due to distracted driving. Ukraine pushes to restart peace talks as Russia's war drags on, the new country being asked to intervene. Right now at 8:30, a nationwide redistricting battle, the latest on the legal battle in Virginia, as Florida lawmakers begin their push for a new congressional map. Creating career pathways for educators, the financial boost coming to Maryland schools, plus the federal government making a major policy shift on marijuana, how it will ease regulations and even allow tax breaks for businesses. But first, back to the breaking news we've been following tonight in the district. A massive fire as a bus goes up in flames in the 9th Street Tunnel. Our Sydney Persing live on the scene in Northwest. Sydney, what can you tell us? What have you learned? Quite the scene behind you.
It is quite the scene, Tisha. And the first thing I just want our viewers to know, we are still waiting for official word from the fire chief here. But right now, officials on the ground tell me they do believe everyone evacuated safely, and witnesses who were inside the tunnel at the time told me the same thing. I want you to take a look now at the scene. Obviously, a still very active presence here from DC Fire and responding agencies. We understand that outside of hotspots, this fire has since been put out. But as you said, there are a ton of units here on scene working to put out those hotspots, and again to confirm that everyone in fact made it out safely. We do know it was a Metro bus that caught on fire, we believe around 6:30 this evening. WMATA has confirmed that that driver is okay and that thankfully no customers were on board at the time. However, I have spoken at least now to 2 witnesses who were inside the tunnel driving behind that bus. They said there were dozens of cars, Tisha, behind it. They smelled the smoke first, then they saw that fire and they heard explosions. They said pops coming from the bus. They got out of their cars, and all together, folks were trying to help each other get out of the tunnel as that fire grew and grew. Folks all across the district could see large plumes of billowing smoke coming from the 9th Street Tunnel. As the folks inside were working to evacuate, I spoke with one witness. He said he was directly behind the bus at the time, and he said he helped work to not just call 911, but to get folks in their cars, out of their cars, and out of the tunnel. Both those witnesses inside told me they had to leave their cars inside of the tunnel, of course, to get out to safety. So we know there are a bunch of folks out here right now waiting to get their vehicles back, but of course their safety, the #1 priority. Again, as you can see, a massive response here from firefighters. We're hoping to get an update from the chief here in the next couple of minutes. We will, of course, bring that to you as soon as we learn those details. But again, the 2 things that folks should know at home right now, at least, it appears that everyone got out safely, including that Metro bus driver. And those folks, I can tell you, who I've spoken with on camera, we'll bring that to you tonight at 10. They are so grateful for the fire department's response here, and also that they were able to get out and that so many folks helped each other. Again, I'm told there were several elderly people down there who maybe didn't want to leave their cars, and the people inside that tunnel really banded together to get everyone to safety.
Sydney, thankfully everyone is okay. Before we let you go, I just want to ask you, what have you heard, if anything, about what may have possibly caused this fire or those explosions that you described?
Tisha, at this hour, we're just not sure. WMATA has come out and said that we don't know a cause of the fire. Obviously, as you can see, again, it's still a very active investigation, so no doubt fire officials are on scene trying to figure that out. All we know right now is that it appeared to originate from that Metro bus. But this investigation, this response, still very much underway. Again, we're hoping to hear from the fire chief soon, so if there is an indication on the cause of that fire, we'll likely hear it at that point, but it is possible that they still won't know yet.
And a robust response there behind you, Sydney. Thank you so much for that update. Virginia Supreme Court now set to hear arguments in the redistricting drama next week, one day after a judge paused everything. Attorney General Jay Jones is firing back with an emergency appeal to certify the redistricting vote. Fox 5's chief legal correspondent Katie Barlow spoke with the Attorney General.
Well, AG Jay Jones says his Solicitor General's office is pretty busy right now. Not only are they filing this appeal of Judge Jack Hurley's order last night, effectively pausing certification of the redistricting vote, but they're also preparing for oral argument on the issue before the Virginia Supreme Court. On Monday morning at 9 a.m., the Virginia Supreme Court will hear oral argument in the original redistricting fight that was paused in March.
all I'll say is that Virginia did not start this. It obviously started in other parts of the country, but we are a very proud state, and we, are the birthplace of American democracy. And I value the right to vote as one of those sacred rights that we are endowed with. I sit across the dinner table from people who were denied the right to vote just because of the color of their skin. And so, for us to have the opportunity to go participate, to make our voices heard about our representation in Washington, I think is really important. I think it's really special.
Republicans are challenging the referendum on several grounds. One accuses Democrats of violating Virginia's constitutional rules for how to amend the Commonwealth's constitution. Two different General Assemblies are supposed to pass the proposed amendment with one intervening statewide election between each vote before it's put to the people. Last October, Democrats convened a surprise special session to initiate amending the Constitution just before the November election. The current General Assembly passed it for a second time in January. Republicans also argue that the language of the referendum vote was confusing.
There's a 1952 case where Arlington threw out their own referendum. And in this case, people can say the voters decided all they want, but they didn't decide based on the process that we have in the Constitution. And the point of the process that we have in the Constitution is so that voters can be properly informed and weigh in on these issues.
The order that the Attorney General's office is appealing is not a part of the case that the Supreme Court will consider on Monday for now. But of course, the state Supreme Court can choose to consolidate the cases before Monday if they so choose.
Republicans are ramping up pressure on Florida to redraw its maps ahead of the midterm elections. A special session to consider redistricting starts next week, but no plans have been publicly released. If they move forward, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries warns Democrats will target 8 of Florida's Republican incumbents. Other states, including Texas and North Carolina, have approved Republican-drawn maps. Several Maryland school systems are getting a major financial boost. They're receiving $19 million to create career pathways for hundreds of educators. The funds are part of the Grow Your Own Educators Grant Program, which trains non-licensed school staff to become full-time teachers. Teacher vacancies in Maryland have dropped by nearly 50% over the last year. Improving maternal health care. The new omnibus bill signed into law in the Commonwealth. Plus, the new mural at Ben's Chili Bowl, who the D.C. landmark plans to honor. The Justice Department easing up on federal restrictions for state-licensed medical marijuana. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has signed an order to reclassify licensed medical marijuana from a Schedule I drug to the less regulated Schedule III drug. It also gives licensed operators a major tax break and eases some barriers to researching cannabis. Marijuana remains illegal on the federal level with a patchwork of state laws in place. Only Idaho and Kansas ban marijuana outright. The Commonwealth is expanding health care to women and families with high-risk pregnancies. Governor Abigail Spanberger signing 4 bills into law today. This legislation will increase access to maternal mental health care screenings, expand Medicaid reimbursements, and create a reporting system to track severe maternal morbidity. If you are curious about cutting down on alcohol, it turns out you might not be alone. More young people are choosing to drink less. Health experts say this shift is partly due to a growing movement among Gen Z. Increased internet access is giving them more information about the downsides of alcohol, leading them to turn to healthier activities. Experts also highlight the influence of social media trends focused on health and wellness. Coming up, Commanders draft preview, the moment we've been waiting for. Fox 5 takes you live to the official Commanders draft party just as the team is set to make its first selection. Happening right now in Pittsburgh, round 1 of the 2026 NFL Draft. The Las Vegas Raiders got things started, selecting Fernando Mendoza from the University of Indiana. The Commanders have the 7th overall pick. Josh Rosenthal joining us live from Northwest Stadium in Landover at the Commanders' official draft party. Josh, I know it's exciting.
This is incredibly exciting, Tisha. And what I'm going to do while we talk live is keep one eye on you and one eye on the big board up here, because is the Kansas City Chiefs traded into the 6th spot. They traded with the Cleveland Browns. They just made their selection. You're good, sir. Come on in. It's all good. Yeah.
Go
we love all the
DC!
Commanders
Go
fans.
DC!
And that means that the Commanders are now on the clock. Real quick, we should have like 8 minutes here before they actually make the pick. Huge event. Commanders did a really nice job with this one. Take a quick spin around here. This is Northwest Stadium. They told me that they actually opened up 25,000 tickets for this one. I'm not sure exactly how many were claimed, but I can tell you for sure there are thousands of people in here. I would say easily over 10,000. Not only do they have people here on the field, this is where they normally be playing, there are different things set up in the concourse. There are folks all over the place. Follow me in this direction. Jesse Birkenhall, an incredible photographer, navigating his way through the masses here as we continue to look at the big board. I want to introduce you to a couple people. Follow me over here. First of all, this is Ashley and Darius. These are Fox 5 super fans, also Commanders super fans. They asked me where Tucker Barnes was. I said he's probably sleeping. Ashley, are you having a good time tonight?
Yes, I am. It's lit in here. It's a good time. Family oriented. We having a ball.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you so much. Thank you for watching. Darius, thank you so much. Appreciate you, man.
He's the man.
He is the man. Follow me in this direction. Where's Elijah? Here he is. Okay. You can hear people going crazy. It's because the big board just showed that the Commanders are on the clock. Elijah, come on up, bud. This is 10-year-old Elijah, who has been waiting oh so patiently to talk to us. Elijah, first of all, how you doing? How's the night going for you? Are you having fun?
Yes.
Tell him who you want, Elijah.
I want Caleb Downs.
I'm with you.
A lot of Caleb Downs fans here. A lot of Sonny Styles fans here as well. Linebacker for Ohio State. Anybody else want somebody other than Downs? No, that's it. Oh, and a couple people who would like to trade the pick back.
We want Caleb. We want Caleb.
Okay, you guys, I will keep going for as long as you want. Let me know if you want to wrap, or if you'd like me to just keep on going until this pick happens, which theoretically could be sooner rather than later. All right, we're going to go 30 more seconds. You guys want up? Who are you rooting for?
I was thinking Monsieur Duluth at the start, but he got taken before him.
He just got taken with the 6th pick.
We want Caleb.
We want Caleb. You heard it here first. Let's do one more spin. Thank you all so much. Elijah, great job, man. And take a look around. You know, you turn a camera on in this crowd, it's like moths to a flame. How's everybody doing? Good.
Hey, it's his 8th birthday today.
It's your birthday today? What's your name, bud? How old are you? How old are you? What was that? 8 years old, celebrating his birthday with the Commanders in Fox 5 DC. All right, we're going to hold on for another minute. The big board up here is telling us that the Commanders pick is in. How you feeling? You feeling good about this pick?
I'm feeling good about this pick. We're going to get somebody good. It's going to be a good season and all that. I'm feeling real good.
How would you say the mood is in here tonight?
Man, it's electric. It's electric. We're excited. We about to get our player. Caleb Downs coming to DC. Welcome home, baby.
So here's what we're watching right now for the folks at home. We're watching Roger Goodell and a couple NFL legends walk onto the stage. This is the Commanders selection. So this whole crowd, I don't know, what do you think, 10,000 people here? More than that? More than that. About to hear. I'm going to be quiet so you can hear the reaction of the crowd. They're making the announcement right now. Okay, I think they're doing one of those NFL things where before they make the announcement, they do some sort of charity thing or something. Is that what you think is happening, Elijah?
Yeah.
Okay, so bear with us for a minute. I think we're going to get a big, I don't know. I think people are ready to go wild.
Oh, definitely.
Right?
Downs. We want Downs.
Want Downs. I'm surprised. I've heard so many, we want Downs. I thought Sonny Styles was going to be more popular at this point.
Him too, but we really want Caleb Downs.
Caleb Downs. Okay. That's a safety, by the way. where Sonny Styles is a linebacker. I think it would be a big surprise at this point if one of those two players doesn't get picked. Everybody agree? Everybody agree with that? Okay, here we go. They're talking. I think they're getting closer. Oh, hi. We're on Fox 5 and FaceTime right now, guys. All right, hold on. Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. Ohio State, Fox 5.
What is that, Josh? Sonny Styles, linebacker pick.
As if.
So incredible. The reaction
Tisha,
as well.
As if you couldn't.
I'll take Sonny Styles. I'll take Sonny Styles.
Tisha, I apologize if you were talking to me. As you can see, the crowd here at Northwest Stadium very happy with linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. One more time before we throw it back, guys. How are we feeling tonight?
Sonny! 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 Sonny!
The moment we've all been waiting for, linebacker Sonny Styles. The Commanders picking Sonny Styles and
thank you, guys.
Josh at the official draft party, and what a party it was. So cool. Now we know. Let's talk about the weather, shall we? Here's a live look outside from our Fox 5 Sky camera at the wharf. Jennifer Delgado joining us with the forecast. But Jen,
it's hard act to follow with that one.
Right?
I'm done. I'm done. I'm going right to the 7
I felt like I was there with Josh.
I know. I mean, the play-by-play, the kids were great with it. And how exciting is that? So I think that's pretty cool. And certainly you were able to see that live here on Fox 5 Plus. All right, let's talk about the weather. And tomorrow, another warm day on the way. We're going to have sunshine out there to start, but then we'll see those clouds building in. We'll see a chance for a few showers and a few isolated thunderstorms. Things are pretty quiet and dry outside. Temperature right now 75 degrees. Our winds are from the south. Humidity still really comfortable. The temperatures in the 70s everywhere except for a few 60s around. But tonight it's not going to be as cold as it has been. As we look to the west right now, numbers are in the 60s and the 70s, but the warmth is still felt across parts of the Midwest. And that is why we are going to stay warm tomorrow. But what we have is a boundary system just to the northeast of us, and that is going to bring some cooler air around for us as we get into the weekend. We're back into the 60s. If we look at our satellite and radar, things are dry for us. We have a few scattered showers up towards areas including West Virginia as well as into Pittsburgh. Here's our boundary system. That is why we've been warm. We're in the warmer area of it. But what we look ahead for us as we go through the night, tomorrow we'll see some rain chances starting to return. So we look at our setup for tomorrow. Again, nice southerly winds in place. We're going with a high of 82 degrees tomorrow. Tomorrow's a mild day, but we're going to be more than 20 degrees cooler as we roll into the weekend. Here's a look at your futurecast. This is Friday morning. Kids are heading out the door. It will be dry. Here are those pop-up showers, a few isolated storms popping up, and then we jump ahead to Saturday. Looks like some rain moving into the afternoon, right along I-81, closer to 1, and then we go into the evening, scattered showers, and then that rain coming to an end as we go into your Sunday morning. So here's your weekend forecast. 60 for a high on Saturday, and then on Sunday, 63 degrees. Here is a look at your 7-day forecast. The 80s go away after tomorrow, and we're not going to see them for at least 7 days. Rain showers around. On Monday, we will dry things out, high of 68 degrees, and then on Tuesday, showers possible, as well as Wednesday and Thursday, high temperatures in the 60s, and our average high should be 71 degrees. So we just keep going through the extremes. Now, we are going to take a short break in a few minutes, but right now, we are going to send it back to Tisha.
Orange Chili Bowl is giving its famous mural on U Street a makeover. It's part of the reopening set for May 1st. The restaurant has been closed for repairs since last summer. For now, through May 10th, the local chain is taking online suggestions for historical figures. Currently, the famous artwork features former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama, Prince, Harriet Tubman, and other icons.
Well, I would like to see Marvin Gaye, Felicia Rashad, John Lewis. Yeah, they're all from D.C. They've all impacted my life in some way, but I'd also like to keep all the people who are already on there.
There you go. That's a good idea. The mural, meanwhile, was last repainted in 2017 by a local artist who removed the face of comedian Bill Cosby. The Kennedy Center opened up for a different kind of tour today. This one showed off where the building is apparently falling apart. The announcement that the Kennedy Center would close for 2 years was met with protests. But the new tour showed off rarely seen parts of the building with water damage and faulty equipment, including outdated air conditioning units. The building will close in July to begin a $257 million renovation project. YouTube star Mr. Beast is in the middle of a lawsuit. A woman is suing his social media company for wrongful termination. She claims she was fired weeks after returning from maternity leave. She also claims she dealt with years of sexual harassment and workplace gender bias. The Mr. Beast company responded, saying the woman's position was eliminated when their e-commerce department reorganized. The Unsung Heroes Awards held today in Richmond celebrated people across the Commonwealth advocating for victims of crime. Recipients this year included 2 people in the Fairfax County Police Department, along with the Victim and Witness Program Director in Prince William County.
The truth is, the people that we are recognizing don't do this work just for recognition. They do it because somebody needs to be heard. They do it because someone needs help navigating their hardest and most challenging moment.
The awards, which began in 2017, have honored more than 100 people and a service dog. Michael Jackson memorabilia is going up for auction in France. It includes his gloves from the Bad Tour and a hat and sequin jacket from the Victory Tour. 50 items will go under the Hammer near Paris in June. The Swarovski encrusted glove, worn during multiple Billie Jean performances, is expected to go for more than $175,000. Remember, Fox 5 is always on. Live Zone Primetime is up next, streaming live on the Fox Local app, followed by Fox 5 News at 10.
Primetime. I'm producer Chris. That is Tony P. Thank you so much to everyone joining us, whether you're watching on Fox Local or Fox 5 DC's YouTube page. We appreciate you.
Yes.
If you are also keeping one eye on the NFL draft, maybe on your phone, you're keeping an eye on the results
Probably
as they
there.
come in. We just got word on who the Commanders selected. Josh Rosenthal is going to join us live. He's going to tell us who it was. He's going to break down how fans feel about it. He is out at Northwest Stadium at a watch party. We're going to check in with
Smart
him
move on that
coming
location.
up in just a second. Exactly. And I'm telling you, I was watching as that pick came in, and people were excited.
Yeah.
Tony P. I am telling you, the fans looked like they were going crazy. They were loving it all.
It was pretty universal. There was like
we get to
no
that,
frowns.
No frowns, exactly. People were excited. Before we get to that, though, I do just want to get to some quick breaking news, Tony P. We are following this breaking news from Northwest D.C. This is a live picture from Northwest D.C. This is a Metro bus fire inside the 9th Street Tunnel in Northwest. If you drive, you know how busy of an area that is. At last check, that tunnel, several roads around it, closed. Multiple fire crews responding to the scene. Right now, no reports of any injuries. Emergency crews working to evacuate passengers and other people who were driving in the tunnel at the time. That was a little earlier this evening. Drivers advised, obviously, to avoid the area. You see the heavy presence of first responders, police, fire, Metro Transit Police. Fox 5's Sydney Persing is on the scene. She's going to have details coming up, Fox 5 News at 10 and 11. Of course, if there are any updates, if there are any press conferences, we will bring them to you live as they happen, Tony P. So I just wanted to get that
That's right in downtown. That is the main drag by the White House Capitol.
Exactly.
It's basically
getting to 395
right,
from Constitution.
That is the hardest turn for a lot of people as well. Now, this is the second incident involving Metro-related personnel or vehicles in the last couple of days. We saw, of course, the crash outside Metro Center with the Metro vehicle and the train.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the same similar area to where 9th Street is. So hopefully everybody is safe. And again, maybe there's something that needs to be evaluated from the Metro perspective. Do we know if there's any stoppages in terms of the trains or anything of that nature?
Haven't heard anything
Nothing?
about that. But
Okay.
like I said, Sidney Persing on the scene.
Right.
We'll bring updates as we get them. Tony
Good to
P,
know.
happy
Hello,
Thursday.
sir.
Now we get to the fun, okay?
Here comes
And
the main course for
we
you.
are talking about the NFL Draft Night 1 underway right now up in Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Jim Lokey's there.
In his
He's gonna have
hometown,
coverage
which I think is
coming
so
up
cool.
on Fox 5 News at 10 and 11.
Oh, yes,
But
sir.
first pick, not a major surprise. Raiders took Fernando Mendoza with the first overall pick, the quarterback from Indiana.
Heisman winner,
national champion winner. But guess what, Tony P? We've got team coverage tonight. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, sports journalist, she's going to join us live. We're going to talk all about all of the picks so far.
Yes.
But we want to start with our man, Josh Rosenthal. Like I said, he is out at Northwest Stadium hanging out with the fans. He joins us now live with complete coverage of that number 7 pick, the number 1 in our hearts.
Yes.
Hey guys, thank you for having me. Let me tell you, this place just erupted 10 minutes ago, 15 minutes ago when the Commanders, with the 7th overall pick, took linebacker Sonny Styles out of Ohio State. Thousands upon thousands of people in here going absolutely nuts. Come on over here. This is Frank, big Commanders fan. Frank, how you feeling about the Sonny Styles pick?
Man, I feel great about that. You know, defense win championships, so that's a good selection we had. Somebody fast, east to west, make tackles, all kind of good stuff. You know what I mean? So it's more to come with him. So we excited for that. We excited for that.
Helping out a defense. It's gotten much better this offseason. One more for you, Frank. How would you say the vibes, the mood has been in here tonight at Northwest Stadium?
It's been crazy, man. Good energy, good vibes, man. DC on our back right now, so it's like we look forward to it.
Thank you. Appreciate you talking to us. Come on over in this direction with me. You can see fans all over the place. They've been hanging out with us all night. Very, very excited. Chris and Tony P. I want to do a quick spin. We'll come back.
I love it.
I just want to show you guys this full scene here. Interestingly, not all that long ago, this place was way more packed than it is right now. And you can see there's still thousands of people in here. I was told earlier they opened up 25,000 tickets for this. I'm not sure how many of those were claimed, but easily, and I mean easily, over 10,000 people here earlier tonight. They had all kinds of stuff for fans to do. They have stuff up in the concourses as well. It's been a great time. This is a great event for the Commanders. Here, come on over here one more time, actually. Or let me show you. This is the tunnel where players were now. And
Oh, that is really
fans
cool.
have actually been able to run up there. Yeah, isn't this cool? And go into the home locker room. So, Sonny Styles, new pick, come whenever, end of August, September. This is the tunnel he's going to be running out on, and you can't see the grass tonight, but it's under here. This is going to be the field. And guys, it's just been a really cool event. A lot of people leaving. Everybody's got work tomorrow. The Commanders just made their pick. But, I mean, a lot of energy, a lot of excitement. When we drove in here to the parking lot tonight, myself and photographer Jesse Burkett Hall, we were like, whoa, football, at least for the night, in Landover, feels like it is back. There was somebody tailgating. I don't know if you were supposed to tailgate tonight, but there was somebody doing it. Just a lot of energy, a lot of fun, a lot of optimism, fellas, for this coming season.
Very resourceful of the fans to start tailgating, Josh. I love that insight. Now, let me ask you this. With the Commanders thinking about offense potentially getting a wide receiver for Jaden Daniels, is this pick a shock to a lot of people, or is this something that they really feel can be that one that can complete this team and help them get back to the NFC Championship game?
I think this was a huge hope for a lot of people. Sonny Styles is a linebacker, right? He's a linebacker out of Ohio State. Oftentimes, you don't see linebackers picked this high in the NFL draft for a few different reasons, which I won't get into. However, the draft analysts mostly said, hey, this guy might be the exception. This might be a guy you want to pick that high, in part because he is an absolute freak athlete. The NFL Combine, this guy blew everybody away. So a lot of Commanders fans were hoping he would be there for the team at 7. There was a lot of thought that he was going to go earlier, so I suspect when there have been a lot of Eagles fans here tonight.
Oh, God, no. Well, that's a Chris would love that.
Go Birds! Chris Birds! Down here.
That's right. He got my text.
This is sacrilege. This is sacrilege.
Back to my previous thought, though. I suspect when we hear from the Commanders' decision makers later tonight, they're going to say they were very, very happy to see Sonny Styles still around when it was their turn to make a pick. And a lot of fans clearly very happy. Actually, come this way.
I love this.
That's what we've been getting a whole lot of tonight. It's been a good time out here in Orlando.
Wow. Josh, we love to see the enthusiasm. We love to see Burgundy and Gold fans hype. We're going to let you go talk to some more. Of course, you can check out Josh. He'll be live out there, Fox 5 News at 10 and 11, right here on Fox Local. But you see the party happening, Tony P.
Josh is hyping it up, man. I love it.
They are psyched. Josh, you are all clear. Thank you, sir. Tony P., let's talk a little bit more, though, about Sonny Styles, all right? This is video, of course, of him at Ohio State. Here is the official release from the Washington Commanders. Sonny played in 53 career games with 41 starts at Ohio State University from 2022 to 2025. Throughout his collegiate career, he recorded 244 total tackles, 131 solo, with 9 sacks, 22.5 tackles for loss, 10 passes defensed, 3 forced fumbles, 1 fumble recovery, and 1 interception. Last season, Styles led the team in tackles with 82 total tackles, 46 solo tackles, along with 6.5 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 4 passes defense, and 1 interception. Styles earned first-team All-American honors and was named first-team All-Big Ten on both the coaches and media votes. Styles was named co-captain for the season and was the recipient of the team's Block O award and number 0 jersey for toughness, accountability, and the highest of character. In 2024, Styles started all 16 games at linebacker, finished second on the team in tackles with 100, along with 10.5 tackles for loss, 6 sacks, 5 passes defense, and 1 forced fumble. He was named second team All Big Ten Conference. From 2022 to 2023, Styles played as a safety, totaled 62 tackles, 5.5 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, 1 pass defense, and 1 forced fumble. His 53 total tackles during the 2023 season ranked 5th on the team and 4th in solo tackles. A Pickering, Ohio native, Styles attended Pickering Central High School, where he played as a safety from 20 to 2022 before transitioning to linebacker. So, a lot of hype, a lot of good vibes for this young man.
It seems like a really consensus pick here. When looking at the defense, that was one of the biggest things that we saw last year from the running attack and in the passing attack. A lot of teams could run on us and could also throw a lot of those short passes, especially on 3rd down. So potentially, I view this pick sort of like a Khalil Mack pick from years ago, as I've kind of thought about this for a little bit. When the Raiders, back then the Oakland Raiders, picked Khalil Mack as that kind of more pass rusher, but also a force in terms of some pass defense. This could be where Sonny Styles ends up for the Washington Commanders.
All right, let's bring in our expert, sports journalist Kelsey Nicole Nelson. She has been patiently standing by, waiting to weigh in. Kelsey, what do you make of this pick?
Well, let me tell you, I'm loving the energy from Landover that Josh was bringing us. Look, fellas, I'm born and bred in the area, and I will always say D.C. is a football town, and it feels like it once again. I think Commanders all know. Commanders fans know. Look, last season was hard, right? 5-12. Tony P., you touched on it so well. I mean, this was a team that ranked last, folks, number 32 in total defense, bottom 5 in passing defense, bottom 5 in rushing defense. Their highest defensive rating was actually 3rd down defense, if you want to count number 23 at that. So all that to say, defense is such an important thing. Ohio State, let's be honest, we know they're a breeding factory for NFL players, and the fact that you get to, and we've been talking about the linebacker position, fellas, for a long time in Washington, and needing to re-up that. So I just think there's so much positive upside with Sonny Styles. I think many thought he'd be off the board actually earlier. I think that's probably been the biggest surprise. You know, there was so much chatter about, you know, would Washington get a wide receiver in Carnell Tate? You know, he got some questions out in Pittsburgh, you know, about what it would be like, you know, to team up with Jaden Daniels. Jeremiah Love is another guy who's been getting a lot of questions about potentially coming to Washington. But all in all, I think Washington, and remember, Washington Fells also has a new defensive coordinator, you know, that will also be, you know, calling the plays. Washington has also been considering a 3-4 defense. So all that to say, I think this is the perfect, you know, thing for Washington.
Kelsey, I'm going to ask you to hold on for 1 second. We want to get out to a press conference from that 9th Street tunnel fire right now. We're going to listen in and then come back.
Will take about 4 hours. We'll know a lot more when that happens. But I invite people to continue to check Alert DC, check Twitter. We will have traffic advisories, letting folks know when the tunnel is reopened. That's all. Thank you.
So we can take a few questions if you have.
Director Kirschbaum, so you said 4 hours for the inspection. Do you think that the tunnel is going to be reopened for the lake review? And then I have a question for Randy as well.
I will know a lot more when the inspection is complete.
Okay. You like to respond to comments online. Already a lot of people are saying, hey, what the heck of a week has been for Metro. We know that pretty much every issue has been separate this week, but what do you say to people who are commenting, you know, what the heck is going on with Metro?
Yeah, listen, we are a very important institution in this region. We're the backbone of mobility, our economy, and quality of life. So we are a very safe system. We know that we are. With that said, incidents happen. We want to work with our partners. We do forensic investigations. We learn from investigations, and we get better. With that said, there's lots of other things that have happened well this week. We had an Earth Day celebration with kids celebrating why transit is so important to the future of our planet. We passed almost a $5 billion budget today, modernizing most of our system, continuing to invest in new buses and new trains, adding new bus and rail service without raising fares and saving the region money. So, you know, this is a big, complex place. Really proud of our staff, how hard they work, and really appreciate our partnerships. And we're going to be there tomorrow, just like we are right now, serving this community.
Can you reiterate what you were saying about the review for tomorrow morning? I know this is going to be top of mind. I think I heard you saying not many impacts in the justice.
Yeah, right now, thank you. Right now, we don't expect any bus impacts for tomorrow's service. With the grounding of the sub-fleet, if that becomes a larger issue, then we'll very much be transparent and communicate that. We may move some 40-foot buses where we normally have 60-foot buses just for capacity. Some of our network routes are really busy, and we'll manage that and communicate directly with the public if there's any impacts.
Yes, sir.
Can you explain what the challenge with it? I know it was tough getting a water supply in, and I don't know the difference between water and flow.
Sure. So what was the complicating factor here is you're in the tunnel. The tunnel's very long. It's about 1,200 feet long, I believe. And they were about approaching from this side was the safest way to do it because the smoke was exiting the other way. And that means they had to put about 900 feet of hose, hand carry it in there. It was a tough operation. It took a lot of people. But that's really what the complicating factor is. It's different than being up on the surface. Everything has to be done manually. So it's an operation we train for. It's one we don't do very often, though.
And just to confirm, everyone is okay. Your bus operator is okay.
Yeah, there are no injuries.
No injuries.
No injuries. We're very fortunate. I haven't counted them. About somewhere less than 20. Yeah. I think it is fortunate, but there's things that go on as well. The tunnel's designed with air shafts and vents to give people time to get out. I think people make great decisions. It's a hard tunnel to come into because there's it's one way. There's no cross exits on this one. So I would think it was fortunate. We were lucky. We were lucky, but we also make our own luck. I do not know. No. Is there any other questions over here? I don't know.
Right. No, that's correct. We know the ventilation system's working, so at least the air is clear. Our inspectors then, they need the time to really just check on everything, but we'll know more when the inspection is complete. So after the inspection, we'll know if the tunnel will or won't be open and we will make sure that we pass that on to all possible media channels so people know for their commute if it's available.
Thank you all.
All right, Tony P. We have just been listening in to an update from DDOT, Metro Transit Agency officials, and DC fire officials about that fire, that Metro bus fire that shut down the 9th Street Tunnel earlier tonight. The good news right off the top, no injuries, no one hurt at all. But right now, they are finishing up clearing that scene, inspecting the tunnel. No word whether that tunnel will be open in time for the morning commute tomorrow. Obviously, that is a major thoroughfare.
Major artery.
A lot of people wondering if they will be able to take it. But, of course, you'll have to just stay tuned and stay, stay with Fox 5.
Exactly. And when you could see,
do.
potentially a lot of stress on the orange, green, orange, silver, and the blue line potentially coming in from Northern Virginia, parts of Maryland. The red line could be stressed out tomorrow, depending on how this works. So again, plan accordingly. If this is not resolved by the 9th, the inspection doesn't go through. What was interesting too, Chris, is Randy Clark, of course, the very well-liked and respected GM of the Metro, is basically saying, trust us, this is a couple incidents, we're safe, we're under control. That is a very, I think, important statement to make to the community after 2 incidents right in the same area involving Metro assets.
Yeah, so thank you for your patience. Thanks for bearing with us. Obviously, when things are live, when things are happening now, that's what we do. We bring them to you. I know we were in the middle of a discussion about that other major story here in the region, which is, of course, NFL Draft Night 1. Tony P., we have made it all the way up to the 13th pick.
And the
Rams on the clock. The Dolphins pick is in. We're waiting to see who they take. But we do want to get back to our experts, award-winning sports journalist, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, who has been patient enough hanging out with us while we handled that breaking news. All right, I'm sorry to have interrupted your previous thought, but I want to hand things back off to you to use a football term.
Exactly.
No worries. And again, I also pray that everyone stays safe. And thank you to the first responders who, of course, are out there right now. But yeah, for football again, Sonny Styles, this is going to be the name that everyone's talking about in Washington. I just want to go back to why this pick means something. So drafted as a linebacker, but this is somebody who played strong safety, fellas, free safety, and nickel prior. So this is somebody that many are saying can be used in multiple positions and be very versatile. Remember, one of the problems with the Commanders last season was what? Injuries and guys needing to step in. So I do think that is very important. Josh also mentioned the combine. Sonny Styles, remember, stood out, folks, for a couple of reasons. One, he ran the fastest 40-yard dash of any linebacker this year, and then he also had the highest vertical and broad jumps. So when I see Sonny Styles, honestly, one word comes to mind: it's athlete. He's a true athlete at the highest form. And so again, I really do like this for Washington. I know this was the excitement because this was the pick that Washington, of course, had early on in the first 2 rounds. But I also quickly want to shout out for anybody from the area. The pick before Sonny Styles, I don't know if you guys know this, but was a DMV native, Mansour Delane from Silver Spring, Maryland. So the Kansas City Chiefs actually got a DMV native, so also did want to shout him out because we love to see our DMV athletes drafted at the highest level.
Well, and a cornerback, right? I think another defensive player, so that could have been also useful for the Commanders. Maybe that would have been the pick if KC decided on the linebacker. Now, who knows? Again, fate sometimes works in interesting ways. Kelsey, let me ask you this. So with Washington not going with a wide receiver to add some more offensive oomph for quarterback Jayden Daniels, what does this pick say about what the identity of this 2026 Commanders team may look like and what their strategy may be in terms of how they play out there?
Yeah, well, let's remember the head coach, Dan Quinn, what he's known for, right? Defense. And, I talked about some of the last categories that the Commanders are in. This also included being almost second to last in scoring defense, fellas, as well as red zone defense. And so I think the Commanders are trying to get back an identity that they're not one to be played with. The Commanders, folks, allowed the most average yards per game in the National Football League. That is not a stat that you want. So defensively, honestly, the Commanders could have used everything. And I think we saw some strong move in free agency, Tony P. Odafe Oweh probably being the biggest name that we've been talking about a lot in Washington. And if you're a Washington fan, you might have actually got to watch a lot of him if you also watched Baltimore games when he was previously with the Baltimore Ravens. But honestly, I think this pick is a really reassuring. Now, to your point, yes, I think everyone also has been talking about how do you get Jayden Daniels, again, some help. And there were some top names in this draft that some people wanted here. Once again, a lot of folks were in love with, I'll say, with Jeremiah Love. Of course, you can go on and on about his accolades, but, I'm excited for him going out to Arizona. Arizona has a lot of needs, more needs even.
Yeah.
Commanders, team and Carnell Tate also getting picked off early. I mean, Ohio State 3 early picks right off the board in the top 7, which was also just a huge night for the Ohio State Buckeyes. But Tony B, I would look at the other picks. Remember, Washington having 6 total picks in this draft, and I think wide receiver right now is a place that you can still find a diamond in the rough, if you want to say, later on in the draft. But yes, there are a lot of questions. Terry McLaurin getting back, with Jayden Daniels is huge. We look at the other guys on this Commanders roster, and again, a lot of youth there. So I do think the Commanders are going to need to see, Jayden Daniels is special, and they know that. And I also just want to say, Sonny Styles, when he was drafted, Tony P, really quickly going back to that, he was already called by some draft experts as a potential franchise player. So the bar is very, very high on that defensive end. But on the other side, again, with offense, with JD5, he can do a lot on his legs. We know he can do a lot with his arm. But I would like to see more. Honestly, Tony P, I'd love to see a tight end come to Washington. Sure-handed tight end.
Security blanket.
Yes, a sure-handed one. Because remember, when it was Zach Ertz, one of the things that he kind of got praised about was being, obviously a veteran, and again, being sure-handed for him to throw to. So I would look at the later picks for Washington to do something offensively, but I think they address the most critical need at number 7. So I feel like there's a lot more, faith in this Commanders front office after just a rough season in Washington. So super, super excited about the future for the Commanders, Tony P.
So that answered one of my questions, which was, do fans have faith in the front office to kind of make that right pick? Real quick, the Ravens are on the clock right now, so we'll keep an eye on them and see who they take. They have a lot more picks in these opening rounds than the Commanders do. Do you anticipate the Commanders trying to make any sort of bold moves to try to get another pick? Or, one of the things that you talked about was trying to add youth. This was the oldest team in the NFL last season,
yes.
So they need some young blood.
Yes. Other than the Ravens, the other team that has the most picks is the New England Patriots. Now, I will say the Patriots, they're undergoing a little stuff right now. If you haven't been watching,
yes.
Coach Mike Vrabel, essentially saying he's going to be getting some therapy.
Yeah.
Going to be away from the team for part of the draft, and of course, hopefully everybody knows I'm referring to the whole kind of scandal that since happened with now former athletic reporter Diana Rossini. But all in all, to say Commanders and Ravens, and one thing I will say though about Baltimore, Chris, Baltimore really usually does thrive picking later in the draft. That's kind of why that actually move up by Kansas City was a surprise by some. Kansas City usually the same thing, but I think Kansas City wants to get back, obviously, to that Super Bowl era accolades. Kansas City has a lot of holes to fill. I think Baltimore, too. If you want to talk about defense for the Commanders, probably the other worst defensive team a lot of people were talking about was the Baltimore Ravens. My gosh, and this is a team that for so long has really storied and prided itself on defense. And so I do think that's something to watch out for Baltimore Ravens fans. Remember, the big thing in Baltimore is making sure that Lamar Jackson, of course, is supported. Pretty much that's probably the only thing Lamar Jackson has left to do is win a Super Bowl. When you look at just the long list of accolades, that the quarterback has. He's come close to the promised land, but hasn't been able to fully get there. But I think the Baltimore Ravens are really, really usually good. Remember when Lamar Jackson was picked, fellas, right? That last pick in the first round. At number 32. So Baltimore, I do think they'll probably, honestly, I would be kind of surprised if Baltimore didn't make any late-term moves, because again, this is what they pride themselves in. But the Chiefs one, I will say, was the biggest, I think, surprise thus far. Remember, the Kansas City Chiefs traded with the Cleveland Browns to move up to that number 6 pick, actually giving away 3 picks in the process to bring a defensive player in. But again, another team with defensive holes was Kansas City. But Baltimore, I will say, probably has, again, a lot of upside. They also were a team that had injuries that also plagued them. So a healthy Baltimore Ravens team, I think, also can be strong this season.
Now let's zoom out into the whole draft generally. Of course, the first overall pick, Fernando Mendoza, he was highly lauded throughout the season, the Heisman Trophy winner. With all of the issues going on in Las Vegas, because what's going on in Vegas is not staying in Vegas. A lot of that stuff is very public. Do you think that this particular first overall pick, we've seen draft busts in the past. There's a lot of specials about the famous draft bust. Does Fernando Mendoza look like someone who could be that franchise Hall of Fame quarterback that Raiders co-owner or part owner Tom Brady was and has talked about for this team?
Yeah, well, what a mentor, right? Tony P.
I know.
Gets to step into with Tom Brady being one of the minority stakeholders in that ownership group. You know, yes, you said it. Like, Vegas has a lot of things that they need to work on, but I think quarterback play was probably the most blatant out there issue. And this really is a league where it's very hard to win, you know, without a good quarterback.
Yeah.
You know, Fernando, I mean, he's coming off a dream year, fellas. You know, I was at the Heisman ceremony in New York where he was able to hoist that. You know, I got to cover it Indiana football games here and really saw the magic in person and, you know, how they're able to go undefeated, win a national championship. I mean, and you think about the company he's joining, Tony P., like the only other players to have, like, dream years like that. You know, you think about Joe Burrow, right? You think about Cam, Jameis Winston, right? All great quarterbacks that he's joining. I think the biggest thing those people have to remember, Tony P., it's not just the quarterback. Again, he's going to need some help. The offensive line is going to be something that you have to look a lot at with Fernando Mendoza. Yes, he was pressured some in college, but the NFL, whole different league, right, that he's going to have to deal with. And of course, also, he has to have a surrounding and supporting cast. So all that to say, I think Fernando Mendoza, I think he is a good pick. The Raiders knew what they wanted in him. I think they also love who he is as a person. You know, you think about the interviews that these guys have to do with teams. Like, I mean, I haven't heard anything bad about the guy.
No.
He's a family guy.
He's wholesome.
I mean, you know,
he
just
is.
launched a foundation. You know, he's giving back to the MS Society, and of course, that's a nod to his mother, who currently is battling with MS. So I really think, and you know, to that point, remember, you know, one of the things that on draft night the league highlights is the NFL Walter Payton Man of the Year award. I remember that one was actually tied with the Commanders pick since Bobby Wagner was the last person to do that. So no, the NFL is always looking for those guys that again can excel on and off the football field. Nobody wants the bad press. There's enough of those bad storylines right now in the NFL. You know, it's a couple players, you know, I've done a couple stories earlier today with some guys that are doing some legal trouble. So the good stories like Fernando are there. But I do think, don't expect in year one the Raiders to completely, Tony P., turn everything around, especially if you watch the Raiders last season. You know they're in a rebuild process, to say the least.
Totally.
Kelsey, hang tight 1 second. We always love when our fans, our viewers join us, and Melissa Rosario is in the Zoom room as well. She's got her Giants shirt on. Melissa, the Giants they took Arvell Reese in the 5th pick. How you feeling about it?
Good, because Ohio State is on a roll. They are on a roll. And Magoa is, you know, he's a big boy, so let's see, you know. We need some help.
Let me ask you. So, of course, a lot of help. John Harbaugh's the new coach. He came in, a lot of fanfare with that. Jackson Dart returning to start. That's kind of a pun. Returning to start at quarterback. Is there some hope around New York and New Jersey about this team after so many years, the last 10, 12 years, of just being in the bottom of the NFL? No offense.
You know, I'm a fan till the end. You know, you got people that pick and choose their teams. You got to stick with them to the end. Just like, you know, I've been living in the DMV for 30 years, and I still go for the Commanders. I wanted to call them Redskins, but I still hail for the Redskins. You got to give them hope. You know, new players coming in. These cats are fresh, you know, hoping that they don't get hurt in the first pick, you know. But to me, it just, there's no I in team. There is no I in team. Get to learn your players, know the atmosphere, you know, arrange practices where you can actually engage with each one and know what their offenses are. You know what I mean? If you don't get to know your players, not only physically but mentally, you're not going to have a great team. However, I do have to say that Caleb, for the Dallas pick, my goodness, this young man was dressed sharp.
Oh, well, that's a whole part of it, too.
I know, it's like the red
fashion.
carpet.
We'll have to check that out. That's a whole nother topic for us a little later. Melissa, thank you so much for joining us.
Someone called John Harbaugh because that could be the new coach.
The Giants added on both sides because they had the 5th and the 10th pick. They also took an offensive tackle with Francis Mauigwa. I may be saying that wrong, but okay. Kelsey, before we let you go, thank you so much for sticking around with us for as long as you have. Just looking ahead, what other major storylines should fans be keeping an eye on?
Yeah, well, let me say this real quick. Sonny Styles, going back to him, one of the people that he's being compared to currently, fellas, is NFL Hall of Famer Brian Urlacher. So again, I just want to put into perspective how high people have him on a pedestal and hopefully being able to do something. Melissa actually just previewed a good one, and Tony P, you alluded to it. John Harbaugh, I think he knows where the Giants need to get you. And let's remember, John Harbaugh is a very respected coach in the National Football League.
Yes.
And remember, he's coming from a Ravens team, again, that really did emphasize, the defensive side of the football. So I think the Giants, and we're talking about the NFC East right now, I mean, my gosh, it's so interesting. What Dallas is doing, obviously we're going to have to watch the Philadelphia Eagles do as well. And the Eagles are another interesting team to watch. They got a little bit going on, if people haven't heard, with A.J. Brown and all these other things happening.
Going to the Patriots, I hope.
They had some inside information. Hey, real quick. All right, the Ravens pick is in. Penn State guard Olaivega Ione. I may be saying that wrong as well, and I apologize if I am, but the Ravens take a guard with the 14th pick.
Interesting.
It makes, again, remember what the Ravens are trying to do, though. I mean, I said the name. I mean, this team is really going all in on Lamar Jackson, and they know what needs to be done and finished. Lamar actually going to workouts early and really, trying to be there for the full kind of throttle. Lamar staying healthy, though, is going to be key. At the end of the day, I don't care who Baltimore picks. If Lamar Jackson can't stay healthy and stay on that football field, it's going to be hard for them. But Baltimore, I think, is really trying to shore up the pieces to reassure Lamar that they're going to do what needs to be done, because Baltimore, they won another championship. They won it bad. They've been close, if you think about the last probably 5 to 6 years, but just haven't been able to get it done. But congrats, to all the fellas on draft night. I think this is one of the most, special days, of the year, seeing these guys, dreams come true, getting to shake Roger Goodell's hand, and some of the other things. Now, I don't know if you guys saw the Topps trading cards that they're getting now immediately after.
Oh, wow.
Drafted, but I just thought that was such
smart.
a nice touch. Yes, very, very nice touch for these young guys. And of course, now we're all excited to see what they do on the football field for these teams, both here and abroad, since we also know we'll have a great slate of abroad games this National Football League season as well.
Of course. Now, you mentioned diamonds in the rough as these rounds go on. We've seen, of course, Hall of Famers in the second, third round in the days ahead. Who are some diamonds in the rough that you're looking at throughout this draft who could really shock us all? And in terms of the draft makeup, is this one of the more positioned classes, or is this one that's kind of top heavy on offense versus defense? Or what's the makeup look like?
Interestingly enough, Tony P, the thing we always usually talk about for draft is what? Quarterbacks, right? We usually talk about quarterbacks. Fernando Mendoza, okay, yes. So everybody knew what was kind of going to happen with him. We've known this for a very, very long time. Tony P, I'd ask you, any other quarterbacks that you are hearing? Because that's kind of what I'm looking at. Teams that need quarterback play. And so I do think this is very interesting as we look at the draft. And of course, I'm missing what's happening right now because I'm talking to you great fellas.
The Rams took Ty Simpson. So the Rams took Ty Simpson.
Ty Simpson is one I think that some folks have an eye on. And sorry, Tony, go ahead.
No, the Rams took Ty Simpson with the 13th pick.
Oh, look at that. Look at that.
That shocks me. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. Now, do you think that's sorry to insert a question into a question, but do you think that that's about what we've seen with Aaron Rodgers and Jordan Love, for example, or with Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers putting someone in there to back up Matt Stafford after his MVP year? What message does that send potentially?
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, and we're looking at a Rams team, I think you are going to need youth, yes, for quarterback play. Tony P, you bringing up Aaron Rodgers was a perfect, example. I really do still think it's interesting that the Steelers are kind of still courting Aaron Rodgers.
I know,
I mean, again, a legacy quarterback, but folks, I mean, he lost a lot of that leg strength as we saw visibly on the football field, and so I really do think teams need to be building for the future. You think about the young guys. Folks, look at what JD5 did in his first season in Washington. And again, I think Ty Simpson actually going off that early probably was a surprise. But again, that's what we're usually looking for in the draft. Garrett Nussmeier is another one, that we're looking at. Carson Beck is another name as we look at.
Yeah.
Quarterback. But I will say with Carson Beck, I do think everybody wants to go younger. Folks, remember in the age that we are in right now in college football and with NIL, these are not all, young studs that are getting drafted. Sonny Styles, 21 years old. But as we look at quarterbacks, a lot of quarterbacks, Tony B, are staying in school much, longer. And remember, this group is still, we're still in our kind of COVID kids group as we look at, collegiate football. And if you're shifty, you knew how to get a couple extra years. And we still remember a lot of legal cases even with, quarterbacks trying to stay longer, in the football ranks and realm. But when it comes to injuries in the National Football League, this is, again, a lot of teams want to get the most out of you in your prime, which is your younger 20s. So I do think that is something to look at. But yeah, I think Chris, going back to it, or Tony P, going back to your question, I think the quarterbacks have been interesting because usually that's always a storyline going into the draft.
Yeah.
Quarterback. I don't think most people could name the top 5 quarterbacks in this draft. Fernando Mendoza probably would have been the unified one. Outside of that, if you're not a big college football fan, I'd be very, very surprised. Or Alabama, right? Let's be honest. Alabama has a huge fan base. So maybe outside of Alabama and Fernando Mendoza, I'm sure most people don't even know the other quarterbacks that are on board for teams to pick.
All right. Kelsey Nicole Nelson, thank you so much for joining us. As always, if people want to follow you for more insight, where can they do it?
Yeah, well, Kelsey Nicole Nelson is my website. At The Real Kate Nelson is my social media. And yes, I'll be following along all the picks. And I'll actually be at Fox 5 tomorrow for the takeout too. So I'm sure I'll be diving a lot more into this.
Oh, great.
As well. So looking forward to diving more into the draft and getting Commanders fans picks.
I'd love to hear it. All right, Kelsey, thank you so much. We'll see you tomorrow. We're going to take our first break now, finally, Tony P. 37 minutes into the show. We've covered a lot so far.
Yeah.
Right now, we're taking a live look at the Capitol Wheel, all lit up out there at National Harbor, our Fox 5 Skycam. We're going to disappear for 2 minutes.
Yes.
When we come back, we're going to talk about some of the other stories Tony P has had his eye on today. We'll be right back. as anyone out there, I forgot to open our mic, so let's start this over again. Tony P, I'm not sure whether I'm allowed to do this, but right now I'm sticking with
You've been talking to the ether.
I've been we've been talking without our mics on. But what I will say is, not sure again, but it looks like right there I see a man wearing a Washington Commanders hat who's tall and in a tuxedo. This is our crew out in Pittsburgh, Jim Loke. So I believe that is Sonny Styles making his Commanders debut there. Like I said, I saw a live picture and I popped it up. Not 100% sure if that's okay, but we'll ask for forgiveness later instead of permission now. And,
right.
That's what the people want to see.
And also, Jim Loke is on location in his hometown,
is live
Pittsburgh, which is so cool. I'm so glad he's out there.
He stopped in Breezewood on the way.
Right.
He loves it so much. He can't get enough of it. He'll probably hit it again on his way back, Tony P. He just can't get enough Breezewood. But if you are watching right now, obviously this is behind the scenes, so that is a live picture from a crew. But there's a lot of people there. Things happen. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put that picture up.
Yeah,
we're gonna leave this picture up, but we're gonna keep going. Tony, well, is he gonna address here's what I'm gonna do, Tony.
Well, see, I can be slow and do my 3 stories. I can do a few, and then we can call it from there. Hold on. Oh, we got it.
Jim Loke is talking to him live right now. He just doesn't know he's live.
Everyone in the building, Mr. Peters, Coach Quinn, Coach DJ, Coach Norin, everyone in the building, a bunch of great men, great people. Even all the way down to player development, everyone's great people in the whole building, so I'm excited to come to that building.
What's going to be the biggest change going from being a Buckeye to being a Commander?
Obviously new city, new people, but I think there's some similarities. I think in Columbus we have great people in our building, great people on the staff. It's going to be the same for the Commanders, so I'm super excited to get to work.
You get to work with one of the most exciting young quarterbacks in the game, Jaden Daniels. I mean, this is a guy that so many players want to team up with. To be with JD5, what does that mean?
Yeah, I think we got a guy like Jaden Daniels on your team. You got a chance to win the whole thing. So I'm super excited to do that. I love the win, so I'm ready to help the team win.
And just one more thing. I mean, in Pittsburgh, there's this rivalry between Ohio and Pittsburgh. So to have this moment and do it in a city that is a rival to a lot of people in Ohio, I mean, how does that feel?
Oh man, honestly, it didn't matter to me where it was. I was excited to get my name called. Being in Pittsburgh is also an amazing city. Father's a few hours away, so he's from Barrow. So just excited to be back in his home.
Congratulations. Good luck.
Thank you.
There you go. Jim Loke, one-on-one with Washington Commanders' newest draft pick, Sonny Styles.
Awesome
Shout out
stuff.
to Jim Loke.
Jim, that was great right there. Got the
right
interview.
Place, right time. Glad we saw that out of the corner of our eyes.
He just popped out those questions beautifully. Well done. That's a hard thing to do.
Jim will have much more coming up from Pittsburgh live right here on Fox Local, Fox 5 News at 10 and 11.
Yes.
In the meantime, though, like I said, Tony P. now going to talk about some of the other stories he had his eye on.
The obligatory Tony P. around the world trip, okay? And we're going to start, of course, with the war in Iran and things that are adjacent to that. President Trump announced today that the Israel-Lebanon ceasefire has been extended by 3 weeks, following a second round of direct talks at the White House between Israeli and Lebanese ambassadors. Trump said the meeting went very well and that the U.S. would help Lebanon protect itself from Hezbollah. Secretary of State Marco Rubio credited Trump's personal involvement for making the extension possible. That diplomatic process came 1 day after Israeli forces killed Lebanese journalist Amal Khalil in an airstrike on the southern village of Al Tayir. Khalil, who had covered southern Lebanon for the newspaper Al Akbar since the 2006 war, was sheltering in a building when a second Israeli strike hit. Rescue workers were initially turned back under fire, and Lebanon's prime minister accused Israel of crimes against humanity. She was the 9th journalist killed in Lebanon this year. A shooting inside the food court at the Mall of Louisiana in Baton Rouge left 1 person dead and 5 others injured Thursday afternoon. Surveillance video showed 2 groups got into an argument and began shooting at each other, with innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. 5 suspects were taken into custody, and the shooting came 4 days after a man killed 8 children in a domestic violence attack in Shreveport, Louisiana. Federal authorities arrested a U.S. Army Special Forces soldier today for allegedly using classified information to bet on the raid that captured Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro in January. The soldier, identified as Gannon Ken Van Dyke of Fayetteville, North Carolina, placed about $33,000 on Polymarket hours before Operation Absolute Resolve was announced. and walked away with over $400,000, Chris, in profit. The case marks the first DOJ prosecution for insider trading on a prediction market thus far. Speaking of the DOJ, the Justice Department today reclassified state-licensed and FDA-approved medical marijuana from Schedule 1 to Schedule 3, the same category as ketamine and Tylenol with codeine. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche signed the order, which expands research access and gives licensed cannabis operators a significant tax break. The DEA will hold a broader rescheduling hearing in late June, and the move does not legalize marijuana at the federal level. The DOJ's Office of Inspector General announced today it is auditing the department's compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act, which required the release of all investigative records related to Jeffrey Epstein. The audit comes after months of bipartisan complaints that the DOJ withheld thousands of pages and accidentally exposed victims' personal information in the process. Acting Inspector General William Blyer said a public report will immediately follow. The mysterious golden orb discovered 2 miles beneath the surface of the Gulf of Alaska in 2023 has finally been identified. Scientists at NOAA and the Smithsonian determined it is a remnant of the base of a giant deep-sea anemone called Relicanthus daphamine. I think that's what the full name is.
Nailed it.
Thank you. Left behind after the animal moved or attempted to reproduce. The 3-year investigation required DNA sequencing and bioinformatics expertise to solve. It's a lot of words at once. I apologize for taking that really slow, but that's a lot of words. In the world of business and, of course, the media, we're seeing it here this week with the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Warner Brothers Discovery shareholders voted on Thursday to approve the company's sale to Paramount Skydance, clearing a major hurdle for the $111 billion merger led by CEO David Ellison. The deal ends a prolonged bidding war that saw Netflix back out in late February, paying a $2.8 billion termination fee. The combined entity would become one of the largest media companies in the world. Meta announced today it is laying off roughly 8,000 employees, or about 10% of its workforce, with cuts taking effect on May 20th. The company is also eliminating 6,000 open positions it had planned to fill, and Meta said the reductions are needed to offset the cost of its massive AI spending spree, with capital expenditures to hit as much as $135 billion in 2026. United Airlines CEO Scott Kirby warned on Wednesday that ticket prices may need to rise 15 to 20% to cover surging jet fuel costs driven by the Iran war. Kirby said fuel costs have risen nearly 70% since the conflict began, adding more than $11 billion annually to the airline expenses. And United has already raised checked bag fees and cut about 5% of its routes to compensate. In the world of Hollywood, and this is one of my favorite actors because of the movie Office Space, Scrubs star John C. McGinley opened up this week about losing 44 pounds at 66 years of age to prepare for his role as a nearly naked college dean in the new HBO series Rooster, opposite, of course, Steve Carell. McGinley said he ate almost nothing for 5 months, surviving on bone broth and 4 ounces of food a day, and did it purely out of vanity. Rooster was created by Scrubs mastermind Bill Lawrence, who based the character largely on McGinley's real life. I wish they had kind of like the Bob's consultant thing maybe they had.
You know, what's crazy is John C. McGinley has always been ripped. Anyway,
I know.
You just saw a glimpse of him right there.
I know. It's like, yeah, I mean, listen, at that age also did a great role in Wall Street, 1987. Truly a great actor.
We're going to circle back to Office Space in a second.
Oh, we should, absolutely. And finally, and we talked about this a little bit at the top of the hour with Kelsey Nicole Nelson, Page Six has published photos today showing New England Patriots coach Mike Vrabel and former NFL reporter Deanna Rossini kissing at a bar in New York City on March 11, 2020, 6 years before the Sedona Resort photos that ignited the entire month scandal that we've been seeing. Vrabel had a wedding ring on at the time, and Rossini was just 6 months away from marrying her now husband. Vrabel announced Wednesday he is stepping away from the team to seek counseling during the draft process. So, I mean, could this have been something that was longer than just a fling at the NFL meetings? It looks like more than that. So, going to be quite the interesting development. I would like to see how this fares out for Mike Vrabel. Does he lose his job? I don't think so, but he did have a lot of conversations during the press week thinking about, hey, I need to take some time off, talking to his family, also talking to the team about his actions.
I told you we wanted to circle back to Office Space. That's because yesterday I got a chance to talk to Stephen Root, who you know is Milton.
What?
Wondering about his stapler. He's in a new show on Apple TV premiering next week. It's called Widow's Bay, along with Matthew Reese and Cato Flynn.
I love it.
But I got a chance to ask the two of them about what role of Stevens was their favorite, and of course they immediately went to Office Space. And Stephen Root on the spot did a little Milton.
No,
it's on my Instagram right now. You can check
my
it
goodness.
out. I highly recommend that you do. I'm not just plugging myself for
killed
views,
to have asked that
but
question.
Yeah. So I have a personal favorite of his as well. But if you want to know what
Also
it is,
dodgeball.
you have to go. Tony P, don't give it away. You have to go to my Instagram and check it out.
When he came back, he threw strikes to come back and won that dodgeball tournament.
Yes,
it was the
he
final
did.
round or semifinals.
L for love.
Yes, that's not what it means.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
All right. Let's get back to something more important, though, and that is our guy. What is that noise? Let's get rid of that.
We got Jim. All right.
Let's get rid of that here for a second. There it is. That's what we wanted. That's who I wanted to see.
Yeah, baby.
The one and only Jim Loke, live in Pittsburgh. It looks like you're in the stadium, Jim Loke.
The old Heinz
We're
Field.
excited. No, watch yourself, Tony. Corporate Masters won't be happy. This
I
is
knew.
Acrisure Stadium.
Sorry.
As you saw here on Fox Local, we talked with Sonny Styles. This is where they're doing the backup, really the overflow for the draft, because you have the draft theater, which is outside on the other side of the stadium here. What I'm going to do is flip this camera around because I want to show you what it looks like inside here. Let me spin it over. There it is. So, I mean, look at this turnout. I mean, but I think for a lot of fans, the exciting part was, I want to spin it this way here, was, like, look at all these fans on the field itself. Wow. I mean, this is pretty incredible, and they're watching it. I can't show that. I don't think I can show that. But, yeah, I mean, it's pretty impressive, this turnout. I think for a lot of fans, the cool thing is, if you're a diehard Steelers fan or diehard football fan, and you've never set foot on a football field, you can do that here.
Oh, that is so cool.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive, isn't it? I mean, just to see this.
Absolutely.
And I think that Roger Goodell said it was about 300,000 people.
Wow.
And they showed up for the NFL draft, so, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously out in full force there. Jim, you got a chance to talk to Sonny. We put it on the air live as you did. Tell us, is he excited to be a member of the Burgundy and Gold?
Oh, I think he clearly is, and I think when you look at the change in this team over the last couple of years, new ownership, new management, different look at the coaching staff, he seemed very positive with the conversations he had with them so far. So I think in that regard, hang on 1 second. Are you going back to where we were, Ed? Okay, never mind. Photographer's making a run for it, so I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, yeah, you got 6 minutes and 20 seconds until I think you're live on Fox 5 News at 10.
Yeah. I think we're okay there. No, I think it was pretty impressive. Just how excited he was. I think he was really impressed with the team that Adam Peters has put together, with the ownership group, and more importantly with the coaching staff. Also said he saw some parallels between his time with Ohio State and guys, the amount of Ohio State media that's here, because I think they're just as sad to see him go as a lot of Commanders fans are excited to see him. There was a lot of talk. We talked with a lot of fans earlier today just about, are you on here now? You're pulling here, Liz?
I was just showing people the behind the scenes view.
Look at this.
I was showing them the behind the scenes shot.
Yeah.
That's the influencer pose. I love it, Jim. That is well done. That is really well done. Now, let me ask you this. So, in terms of Pittsburgh being the site this year, what is the vibe looking like on the ground, and what does an event like this mean to a city like Pittsburgh or any type of city that has this type of draft night? What is it looking like from the vibes, the bars, all of that?
It's funny you say that, because where is the draft next year? In Washington, D.C. But the difference here is it's going to happen on the National Mall. Here, they have a stadium, so you got 65,000 seats that you could fill for all the ancillary activities. And then outside, I mean, it's like a football wonderland out there, but it's also very secure. I mean, there were so many choke points onto the North Shore of the city that are completely closed off unless you have the NFL pass, unless you conform to, clear bag and all that stuff. And as a result, guys, I had a bag with all my equipment, and I couldn't take it through that zone. So I think I had to walk about 1.5 miles to meet the photographer to get back inside. But the most important part about it is they want to make this a family-friendly event. And they want parents to bring their kids down here. And I saw a lot of that happening, which is pretty cool. And I didn't see a lot of people complaining about the extra steps they had to take. I mean, is it a pain in the butt to make sure you have a clear bag and make sure you have to go through certain checkpoints and walk through metal detectors? Sure. But in a case like this, with this event that has, the sports world's attention right now, I think that's the most impressive part that so far it looked like it's gone off without a hitch. But we're still only through halfway through night one. We still have 2 more to go here.
Right. No, it's truly incredible. It's so cool, of course. Native Pittsburghian, is that how it is? Pittsburghian or Pittsburgher? What is it? I mean, it's got to be incredible to be on your home turf covering this international event. Like, what's it been like being back home like this for work and doing all this, interacting with the locals?
Tony, it's been great. I got to tell you, it's been a lot of fun being back here. And what I have to do right now, I got to step away.
Oh, sorry. Yes, sorry.
We got to get ready. Yeah, we got to get ready to get ready.
Yes, go do your thing.
Thank you for coming in.
Jim, we love you. Thanks so much for joining us here.
You got it.
All right, we'll see you in a little bit right here on Fox Local, Fox 5 News at 10. You heard him say how excited Sonny is to be coming to Washington. We heard from Josh Rosenthal and all of those fans that he was surrounded by just how excited they are to have Sonny coming here to Washington. I know there were a lot of other names people were throwing out, and I know people wanted Jeremiah Love, former Notre Dame running back. I think, the team needs some help in that area. The Eagles are on the clock right now. We'll keep an eye on that as well. It looks like there might have been
trades have been going on?
Well, I'm looking at this line, the Green Bay, Dallas, Philadelphia thing going on there.
Yeah.
Not sure what that means exactly, but yeah. So
those may have been previous trades that led to that
how
pick.
they ended up here with
It's going to be interesting. Who do we have for the rest of the list here? We have the Panthers.
The Steelers are up. Well, the Panthers, the pick is in. We're
hometown
waiting to
team,
hear
21.
them. Eagles are on the clock. Then the Steelers, Chargers, Cowboys again, Browns, Bears, Bills, 49ers, Texans, Chiefs again, Dolphins, Patriots, and the Seahawks, the Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks.
Back to the Mendoza thing. I wonder, with the Raiders bringing in Kirk Cousins, are they going to sit Mendoza for a year? Because will Kirk Cousins be that?
Kirk Cousins, with all due respect, the man is a genius when it comes to getting paid.
No, his agent's a genius.
His agent is a genius in getting that man paid. However, his performance on the field, I don't think, has quite lived up to what some fans, especially some fans here in Washington, may have hoped. Remember, they drafted
team issue too.
RG3 and Kirk Cousins at the same time, and everyone had their money on RG3 being that guy. RG3 has been out of the league for years, and Kirk Cousins...
He got unlucky. I mean, I think RG3 got unlucky. He was an incredibly talented quarterback. And I think when it comes to Kirk Cousins, though, he had a pretty solid career. I mean, had a few Pro Bowls, I think one All-Pro. He's had a lot of yardage, a really long, in terms of longevity, a pretty solid run.
He had a great, I think we talked about this at one point, he had a great press conference where he explained what it takes to be a modern quarterback and how hard it is to be a modern quarterback. I highly recommend.
He's definitely not a bust. He's actually a third-round pick.
He has been doing a lot of once the Falcons had gotten eliminated, he was doing a lot of
broadcasting
panel work, broadcasting work, and I thought for sure that was the inevitable next step for him. Still probably will be, but in the meantime, he's getting paid, and he'll probably just be there to be a little bit of a veteran in the locker room and a backup, while he learns the system, and at least somebody who's still.
He's still
smart enough
good
in the game. Well, no question. But it can also challenge Mendoza to kind of step up.
Right. In training camp, maybe there is a quarterback competition or a smaller one at the beginning of training camp. Here's what I'll say, though. I actually think that they probably should sit him for a year. I think, you know what? The Raiders are not complete enough yet. Put some tools around him. Get that offensive line ready to go. And let Kirk Cousins be the one that kind of experiments a bit. That's my opinion. But who knows?
Fox 5 News at 10 is coming your way next. Jim Loke live from Pittsburgh. Josh Rosenthal live from Northwest Stadium. Sydney Persing with the latest on that tunnel fire and whether the roads will be back open in time for the morning commute. Have a great night. We'll see you tomorrow.
Tuesday on Fox.
Off the top at 10, a chaotic commute home inside the 9th Street Tunnel in Northwest D.C. as a Metro bus catches fire. We're live tonight with the latest update from the scene. Plus, a 19-year-old substitute teacher in Northern Virginia charged with making threats against a local school. The tip that helped authorities make an arrest. And big changes coming to Metro when we could see a fully automated red line. Your news starts right now.
And welcome into this 10 o'clock hour on this Thursday night as we start tonight with a check on our forecast as we take a live look outside National Harbor. What a beautiful day today was. Felt more like summer.
Yeah, it did, but that is going to change come this weekend. Meteorologist Mike Thomas joining us now with a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're going to do one of those change-a-roos as we work our way through the end of the week and the weekend. Now, the good news is we got another day tomorrow that should be generally very similar to today. It may end with a few rain showers, but D.C. 84 this afternoon, Dallas and Baltimore 83. All things considered, I think most people gave today an A+. Very nice and warm, mild afternoon. Felt a little bit more like early summer, though humidity nice and low, which we always love this time of year. Reagan National Airport all aglow tonight. Planes have been coming and going without issue as winds are light and temperatures are still comfortable and no real weather or visibility concerns. 72 degrees out there right at this moment. Still quite mild. Dallas a little cooler out in the suburbs, but I'd say pleasantly so at 64. BWI Thurgood Marshall just south of Baltimore sitting at 66 right now. Most locations will head down into the mid to upper 50s during the overnight hours, above where we should be for this time of year. Average lows right around 50 degrees, but we'll take it. It'll still be pleasantly cool as far as those low temperatures are concerned. As we look outside, satellite and radar, calm and quiet, right? The one zone that isn't, we love our viewers up in Garrett County, Maryland. So we'll go in for you and show you that shower, even a rumble of dew, a thunderstorm near Friendsville, great name for a town up there, fading away as it got past Mountain Lake Park, trying to cross the border into West Virginia there. As it does so, it's likely going to continue to fade. Not expecting any showers to reach us here in Washington tonight. 61 degrees for your pre-bus stop forecast there. So expected to be cool, but I'd say comfortably cool in the morning, 6:19 a.m. After school, yes, you do see a chance for a rumble or two of thunder, but don't let that symbol scare you too much. There'll be hit and miss variety. Also, plenty of sunshine, enough to get our high temperature to about 82 in the afternoon. Sun sets closer and closer to 8 o'clock. In fact, this is the last weekend that the sun's going to set before 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, it may be setting behind some clouds and some showers. We'll talk more about that weekend forecast in just a few minutes. Ladies?
All right, Mike, thank you. Well, all eyes on the NFL as the first round of this year's draft is underway in Pittsburgh.
The Washington Commanders selecting Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles with the 7th overall pick in tonight's draft. We have live team coverage tonight. Josh Rosenthal is standing by from Northwest Stadium with reaction from Commanders fans.
But we begin tonight with our Jim Lokay in his hometown in Pittsburgh, taking in the sights and sounds from the NFL draft. How big of a night was this for the Commanders, Jim?
A huge night for the Commanders, and as we welcome you in here, it is very impressive to see the giant crowd that showed up behind me here at Acrisure Stadium. This is the overflow. The actual draft is happening outside of the stadium over in the draft theater, but just a few minutes ago we had a chance to talk one-on-one with the newest member of the Washington Commanders, Sonny Styles, the linebacker. Let's show you some of his highlights as he suited up for the Ohio State Buckeyes. And I got to tell you, what was impressive were the number of people who showed up from Columbus media, because it seems like they were just as disappointed to see him go as Commanders fans seem excited to see him suit up in burgundy and gold along the likes of Jayden Daniels. I just talked with him a little bit ago to get his sense on how excited he is to suit up with the Commanders. Here's what he had to say.
You know, obviously new city, new people, you know, but I think there's some similarities. You know, I think in Columbus we have great people in our building, great people on the staff. It's going to be the same for the Commanders, so I'm super excited.
So there he is, Sonny Styles, the newest member of the Commanders. He is making his rounds right now. And one thing I talked to him about was this idea, if you're not familiar, there's a very intense rivalry between the state of Ohio and Pennsylvania, particularly Pittsburgh. So I asked him how it felt to have this seminal moment in his life, this huge moment in front of a place that is considered enemy territory. He said, you know what? It doesn't matter. It's just the same. A tremendous moment for him and his family, and as luck would have it, his dad is from Farrell, Pennsylvania, just about 2 hours north of here at Acrisure Stadium. The draft is still going on. I know there's a lot of excitement. Josh is going to have that end of the story covered. But now from Pittsburgh, I'm Jim Lokay. Back to you.
We have a Fox 5 News alert to bring you. The 9th Street Tunnel remains shut down after a Metro bus caught on fire inside, shooting plumes of black smoke into the air.
Pretty incredible images here. The fire also sent dozens of people running to safety. Fox 5 Sydney Persing is live at the scene now in Northwest D.C. with the very latest. Sydney, what can you tell us?
Yeah, well, ladies, the headline here and really the miracle of the night is that nobody here was hurt. This Metro bus caught on fire inside of the 9th Street Tunnel under the National Mall and at rush hour, and somehow everyone managed to walk out unscathed. I want you to take now a close look at your screen. We're just now getting images into our newsroom that show the flames bursting inside of that tight tunnel, and we're seeing videos now of the chaos as folks tried to evacuate, abandoning their cars. You can see just how busy it is in there. We understand this all happened around 6:30 tonight. The driver of the bus evacuated safely, and thankfully no passengers were on board. Right now, DC Fire says they don't have an exact cause pinned down, but they do believe this was mechanical in nature, nothing nefarious. I just met a man, Alan Knight, who said he was right behind the bus. He smelled the burning smell first, then saw the flames, then heard what sounded like several popping sounds. He told me he could not wait for firefighters to get there. Everyone had to try to get each other out immediately.
It was just me and this guy in a suit. Yeah, we were just encouraging everybody to leave. Like I said, some people didn't really wait that long, and they left, their cars in the middle of this line of cars. So a lot of people got trapped. So we were helping everyone turn around. It took a lot of it. It was hard for people to leave their cars. I had to, help convince this old man driving a cab to get out of his car and leave it. But fortunately, we all did.
Now, thankfully, the response here was large as well. According to DC Fire, 41 units were deployed with 125 personnel. WMATA says this bus that caught fire was inspected just in March, so it appears to be a normal inspection compliance, but Metro said they're going to review all records just to make sure. GM Randy Clark also said they're going to ground the entire subfleet of 21 buses of this type, just out of an extra precaution to do immediate inspections on all of them. I want you now to listen to Fire Chief Donnelly describe the complicated nature of this operation.
The complicating factor here is you're in the tunnel. The tunnel's very long. It's about 1,200 feet long, I believe. And they were about approaching from this side was the safest way to do it because the smoke was exiting the other way. And that means they had to put about 900 feet of hose, hand carry it in there. It was a tough operation. It took a lot of people. But that's really what the complicating factor is. It's different than being up on the surface. Everything has to be done manually. So it's an operation we train for. It's one we don't do very often.
Now, despite the grounding of that subfleet I mentioned, Metro said that they're not expecting any impacts tomorrow to your morning commute, though if that changes, they're going to push all of that out. And I want you to just take one more close look before we go. As you can see, it's still very active right now. We understand they're working to maybe start towing those cars out of the tunnel as well as the bus because they're all still inside there. We also know that DDOT is inside that tunnel working to inspect it to make sure the wall and ceiling panels are intact and safe for commuters. We're told that inspection will take several hours. So as far as whether the tunnel will be open for your morning commute, we still don't know that. As soon as we do, of course, we'll let you know on air and online.
All right, it's a scary situation in the city. Thank you. We have some more breaking news to bring you, this time out of Fairfax County. Firefighters responding to a house fire.
That's right. Fox 5 Shamari Stone is live on the scene. Shamari, what can you tell us?
Well, we're the first and only media here on the scene, and firefighters just gave me an update saying that there were 5 people inside of the home. 4 got out, and 1 was unaccounted for. They were able to find that person, transported to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Before I get more into that, let me show you that these firefighters right here are putting up their hoses. They're breaking down after putting out this fire. You can zoom in on the house right over there. This happened around 9 o'clock tonight on the 4400 block of San Carlos Drive. You're looking at some of the people who were able to get out of the home. Crews arrived. They found a large volume of heavy smoke and flames coming out of the basement of this home you're looking at right now live on Fox 5. Firefighters quickly went to work performing that fire suppression. They were searching this house, looking for people. Again, 4 people got out, but there was 1 person. They told firefighters, hey, there's somebody still in the house. That person was missing. Well, firefighters searched, and they were able to locate that person. He was medevaced to a hospital with life-threatening injuries. The fire is now put out. Firefighters are still trying to determine what exactly caused this fire. I talked to a spokesperson moments ago, and he says, we're still trying to determine that. But again, the good thing is that the 4 people were able to get out, but there's 1 person at the hospital right now with life-threatening injuries. We'll continue to bring you updates here on Fox 5. I'm Shamari Stone. Back to you.
Shamari, thanks so much. Today, Metro's board of directors unanimously approving a plan to modernize the Red Line. The upgrades come with a nearly $1 billion price tag. The proposal includes new platform walls with elevator-style doors that will open simultaneously with trains once they stop at Red Line stations. The board also voting to move forward with full automation of the Red Line.
All of those things can happen with more levels of automation. Automation, again, doesn't mean no staff. What it means is using technology to get the most out of the infrastructure.
I was surprised when I woke up and heard on the news from you guys that they were moving forward with this in 2032 without having real dialogue with the union.
Metro's vote today clears the way for Metro to start talking with the federal government about funding. If all goes as planned, the Red Line automation project could be up and running by 2032. A renewed push to get driverless cars onto the streets of D.C. Today, Councilmember Charles Allen introducing the Autonomous Vehicle Deployment Act of 2026. The bill would allow AV companies, including Waymo, to offer commercial rideshare services across the city. The plan requires equal wait times in every ward and creates a miles traveled fee to fund public transportation and support disabled drivers. No word on how much support it has from the rest of the council.
Preservation efforts are now underway on the George Washington Memorial Parkway. The National Park Service says that it will repave between Spout Run Parkway and I-395, as well as between Ronald Reagan National Airport and First Street in Alexandria. The work will happen overnight and on weekends. Next week, crews will replace pedestrian crossing medians in the same area.
Coming up, how authorities were able to catch up with a substitute teacher accused of making threats against a local school.
And the Washington Commanders taking Ohio State linebacker Sonny Styles 7th overall in tonight's NFL draft. We're going to have a live reaction from Commanders fans coming up. While the NFL draft is in Pittsburgh this year, Commanders fans didn't have to leave the DMV to celebrate the newest member, linebacker Sonny Styles.
Fox 5's Josh Rosenthal has been live with the fans all night. Josh, we can feel the excitement. We were on the air the moment it was announced. It's cleared out, but there's still some folks out there celebrating.
This has been a really cool night, guys, and it is an absolute pleasure to be coming to you live from the very spot where the newest commander, Sonny Styles, will be taking the field in just a few short months. This is the Northwest Stadium Commanders Watch Party. Like you said, Tisha, the place, it's cleared out a little bit. We're going to talk about that in a second. However, I will tell you, at times, it has been absolutely electric here, and no time more so than that moment when Sonny Styles was selected, and we were live on Fox Local. So let's just get right to it. Check it out. This is when the newest commander was drafted. Sonny Styles, linebacker, Ohio State. One more time before we throw it back, guys. How are we feeling tonight? As for the event, Sonny Styles, what'd you think? You like the pick?
I think the pick was okay. I wanted down, so I'm mad Dallas got downs, but I think Sonny Styles will be good and Deron Jones' defense.
I wanted Styles. We did hear from a lot of people who wanted Downs, who unfortunately went to the Cowboys. So let's all forget how much we liked him before the draft.
Now he's trash.
Nevertheless, really fun night. Have you had a good time? Have you had a fun
great
night?
time, great time, great event.
Great time. A couple things that happened tonight. Right here, you see this big helmet? That's the tunnel that players come out of. Fans have been able to go in and out of there all night and actually go into the home locker room. Now, follow me over in this direction. I'm standing on what would normally be the field. The grass is under here somewhere. Of course, they're taking care of it. But that's been very cool. Tons of different things for the kids to do, for families to do. The concourses are filled with stuff. And if you look back over here, in this direction, you can see a big stage. They had a podcast going up there tonight. They had live music going on up there tonight. Altogether, they made 25,000 tickets available for this event. I'm not sure exactly how many of them were claimed, but easily, and I mean easily, at times tonight, more than 10,000 people in here. No problem. No doubt about it. How are you doing? What'd you think of the Sonny Styles pick? You liked it?
You know, we could have got Caleb Downs, but here we are.
We've heard this a lot. I like Styles.
No. Listen, if I catch you, AP, we got something to talk about.
Want to give me a Go Commanders before you send it back?
Go Commanders.
We'll take it. Go Commanders, guys. Back to you.
I mean, listen, you got to give it to the Commanders fans. They come out strong. What a fun party that was.
Yeah, you know, it's always fun doing the draft and figuring out, like, you know, who you think the Commanders are going to pick. You can tell some fans maybe had a different thought, but hey, they're not in the room, right? They don't know what the team's thinking.
And hopefully this strengthens the defense. So
I'm sure. Well, it can't make it worse, right? That's the idea. But next year, where's the draft?
Here, which is very exciting.
And maybe that was a little preview of how they're thinking of setting things up or getting ready for fans to be able to enjoy the NFL draft right here in D.C. next year. I'm sure we'll be excited for our coverage with that coming up. Warm again for Friday, just like today. The main difference with tomorrow, little better chance as we head towards the afternoon and evening hours tomorrow night that we could get interrupted with some showers, maybe a rumble or two of thunder. So not a perfect day, but another warm day coming up for your Friday. 72. Still mild out there right now. D.C. Manassas, though, 10 degrees cooler at 62. Gaithersburg, 64. Baltimore, 66. Thundertown, 67. Westminster, 71. Hagerstown, 72. Cumberland, Maryland, at 67 degrees. Satellite and radar, pretty calm and quiet locally. There's been some showers over the mountains here tonight. They're generally starting to fade away, although they're along a boundary that's going to be draped across the D.C. region tomorrow. Will be unstable. Doesn't mean we're going to be cloudy all day. In fact, we should have a good amount of sunshine. It just means that as the warmth of the day kind of builds, we could pop some showers and storms just like they did over the mountains today over D.C. tomorrow afternoon and evening. I'll show you the general setup. In addition, it's sort of like this warm front coming on through, but there's a cold front that's going to be on approach tomorrow too. Out ahead of it, we're steering up more warmth, but we're also steering up some moisture that'll hit that boundary and try to rise a little bit. So 70s and 80s, another warm day, but a day that we may briefly need the umbrella from time to time. You see 10 a.m. tomorrow morning, some clouds, but some sunshine mixing in as well. We head towards lunchtime, mostly sunny conditions across the D.C. region. once we get beyond that point, that's when things could start to bubble a little bit. Futurecasting just by 3, 4 o'clock, could be a couple of thunderstorms trying to get their act together. You see one there in northern Virginia at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then right through the evening, kind of scattered showers, scattered thunderstorms are possible. We're not expecting any severe weather, but some localized heavy downpours certainly look possible. That could go right through the evening on Friday night and then linger into Saturday morning. And then on Saturday afternoon, that cold front out to the west kind of slides in, and there could be even more shower activity. So weekend's going to switch things around a little bit. But tomorrow, I still expect a good amount of sunshine. Temperatures will be very warm into the lower 80s we go. We'll dodge the occasional shower or storm, but it is certainly not a washout, and you'll still be able to enjoy that warmth. And I suggest you do tomorrow because cool air will be building to our north all day, and it will get pushed down into the D.C. region for your Saturday and Sunday. We're talking about highs in the 50s, maybe lower 60s as we get through the course of the weekend here. We're just going 60 for a high on Saturday. It won't technically be a washout, but it'll be pretty showery. Afternoon and evening hours look like when they'll be most widespread, just to warn you. Sunday may start with a sprinkle or two, but by the afternoon we should dry things out. Sunshine in the latest runs is looking a little bit more limited, which could keep us cooler, but it should be drier as opposed to Saturday. We'll talk more about the weekend. I'll show you Futurecast coming up in just a few. Guys?
Mike, thanks so much. Wildfires in southern Georgia have burned tens of thousands of acres, leading to evacuations. This is some of the damage out of Brantley County. You can see the burned out cars and homes. Governor Brian Kemp has issued a state of emergency for the affected areas. A report from the American Lung Association says nearly half of Americans may not be breathing in healthy air. That's about 152 million people living in places where there are high levels of pollution. According to the report, people of color and children are also disproportionately affected. The report cites extreme heat, drought, and wildfires as contributing factors that are putting millions of people at risk.
Coming up, a U.S. soldier under arrest accused of betting on a military operation.
Plus, as the war continues in Iran, Ukraine is trying to get foreign leaders back on the negotiating table to help end their war with Russia. One person is dead and 5 others are hurt after a mass shooting at a Louisiana mall. It happened this afternoon in Baton Rouge. Police say 2 groups got into an argument at the Mall of Louisiana's food court and opened fire. Bystanders are among those hurt. Police initially said there were 10 victims, but then clarified there are 6. At this hour, 5 people are in custody.
In the Middle East, Israel and Lebanon agreeing to extend their ceasefire for another 3 weeks. President Trump making that announcement and saying that the U.S. will work with the Lebanese government against Hezbollah. The ceasefire had been set to expire on Sunday. Meanwhile, negotiations have stalled between the United States and Iran, with both sides accusing the other of piracy in the Strait of Hormuz. Iran says it will not attend talks until the United States ends its blockades. The U.S. says it will not participate until Tehran opens the strait. And Ukraine says it cannot wait until the end of the war with Iran to get foreign leaders back to the negotiation table and end its war with Russia. Ukraine asking Turkey to host a meeting between President Zelensky and Russian President Vladimir Putin. It comes as the European Union approves a multi-billion-dollar loan to support Ukraine through the ongoing war. The $106 billion package will help Ukraine economically and militarily over the next 2 years. Ukrainian officials have warned that without it, the country could run out of resources during the spring.
Meanwhile, back at home, thousands of teddy bears lining the National Mall, each one representing a Ukrainian child abducted by Russia forces since the start of the 4-year war. The installation includes 20,000 teddy bears, a universal symbol of childhood, on a vertical fence. Event organizers are calling on the Trump administration to prioritize bringing Ukrainian children back home and holding the Kremlin accountable.
A U.S. Special Forces soldier charged and arrested for making massive profits on the prediction marketplace Polymarket. The bet was related to the capture of Nicolas Maduro. The DOJ saying today that Gannon Ken Van Dyke participated in the planning and execution of that raid. He bet $33,000 and made more than $409,000 based on classified information.
Coming up, school bus changes, what a federal agency is pushing to have all buses equipped with.
And a substitute teacher in Northern Virginia charged with making threats against a school. What we're learning about this case tonight. Right now at 10:30, the battle over redistricting continues in Virginia. The legal battle's playing out after voters approve new congressional maps.
Plus, the federal government easing regulations and a major policy shift on marijuana.
And an iconic D.C. restaurant needs your help. Ben's Chili Bowl asking for suggestions for their newest mural. But first this half hour, a 19-year-old substitute teacher is in jail tonight accused of threatening violence against a Loudoun County high school.
Fox 5's Shamari Stone has reaction from Aldi.
Tonight, some people tell me that they are shocked that this substitute teacher allegedly made these threats and was teaching at just 19 years old. The Loudoun County Sheriff's Office arrested 19-year-old Hayden Dolery on Monday. The Sheriff's Office says Dolery identifies as a transgender female charged with threats of bodily injury. Dolery was an LCPS substitute teacher. Sheriff's investigators say they received a tip through the Safe to Talk app that Dolery made statements threatening violence at John Champ High School on an online platform.
I didn't believe it at first.
We reached out to LCPS and a spokesperson released a written statement saying, quote, Dolery was a non-licensed substitute teacher this school year. Dolery is no longer on the available substitute list. A non-licensed substitute teacher must be at least 18 years of age and hold a high school diploma or equivalency examination approved by VDOE. LCPS takes all threats seriously as safety of students, staff, and visitors is our highest priority, end quote. Dolery is in jail without bond. No word on the next court hearing. Meanwhile, the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office wants anyone with information about the suspect to give them a call. I'm Shamari Stone. Back to you.
Shamari, thank you. Virginia's redistricting drama just hit high gear. Attorney General Jay Jones is firing back with an emergency appeal to certify the redistricting vote just one day after a judge paused everything. Virginians approved the new congressional maps Tuesday by a slight margin. Republicans are challenging the referendum on several grounds. One argument claiming the language of the measure was confusing to voters.
And the point of the process that we have in the Constitution is so that voters can be properly informed and weigh in on these issues.
All I'll say is that Virginia did not start this. It obviously started in other parts of the country, but we are a very proud state, and we, are the birthplace of American democracy.
The Virginia Supreme Court has scheduled oral arguments for Monday. Meantime, Republicans are ramping up pressure on Florida to redraw its maps ahead of the midterm elections. A special session to consider redistricting the Sunshine State is scheduled to start next week, but no plan has been public released. If they move forward, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries warns Democrats will target 8 of Florida's Republican incumbents. Other states like Texas and North Carolina have all approved Republican-drawn maps.
Senate Republicans take a big step at passing a framework for funding the Department of Homeland Security without Democrats. It's part of the budget reconciliation plan that has a long way to go before the finish line. Contingency money for ICE and CBP is expected to dry up in the first week of May.
This is so difficult up here. We can't agree with much. I was in conference the other day, and, we were talking. I'm going to say next week is hell week.
Adding $140 billion to an agency that to two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country.
President Trump has set a June 1st deadline for Congress to get funding passed for ICE along with Border Patrol. The Justice Department's chief watchdog reviewing the department's compliance with the law mandating the release of the Epstein files. The Inspector General's review office will focus on how the department collected, reviewed, and redacted materials. The Epstein Files Transparency Act was passed by Congress last year and signed into law by President Trump.
The Justice Department easing up on federal restrictions for state-licensed medical marijuana. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche has signed an order to reclassify licensed medical marijuana from a Schedule I drug to the less regulated Schedule III drug. It also gives licensed operators a major tax break and eases some barriers to researching cannabis.
When you buy marijuana, it doesn't have a stamp on the flower that says medical or recreational, so you can't tell. The biggest thing, research will come out of this, but there's 40 states with medical programs, only 24 with recreational.
Only Idaho and Kansas ban marijuana outright. The DEA will hold a hearing for marijuana in June.
The National Transportation Safety Board calls for alcohol detection systems and seat belts on school buses. This comes after a bus crash in West Virginia where the driver was allegedly drunk. 3 students were hurt. The NTSB pushes for all new school buses to be equipped with alcohol detection systems, citing their use on buses in Europe.
Several Maryland school systems are getting a major financial boost. They are receiving $19 million to create career pathways for hundreds of educators. The funds are part of the Grow Your Own Educators Grant Program, which trains non-licensed school staff to become full-time teachers. Teacher vacancies in Maryland have dropped by nearly 50% over the last year.
Guaranteed paid family and medical leave is coming to Virginia. Legislation signed by Governor Abigail Spanberger this week will allow eligible workers to take up to 12 weeks of paid time off for major life events starting in 2028. This will include childbirth, caring for a family member, or recovering from a serious health condition. The Unsung Heroes Awards today in Richmond, celebrating people across the Commonwealth advocating for victims of crime. Attorney General Jay Jones hosted the annual event, recognizing people who went above and beyond for victim services. Recipients this year, including 2 people in the Fairfax County Police Department. One of those, Detective John Long, was credited with solving an attempted murder and a cold case.
In a complex attempted murder case involving cyber stalking and domestic violence, his meticulous work spanning DNA, ballistics, and digital evidence resulted in a conviction and a life sentence. Throughout the case, he remained a steady source of support for victims and witnesses.
The award also celebrating Long's work solving a decades-old murder case.
Coming up, some Capital One customers could be getting a payday. The details from a settlement with the company.
Plus, parking will stay free on Sundays in Alexandria, but another cost is going up. We'll explain. Big tech continues to make deep cuts as AI demand keeps going up. Meta laying off 8,000 workers. That's about 10% of its workforce. Microsoft also offering voluntary buyouts to thousands of employees in the United States. Some companies warning investors that expenses are growing in order to stay competitive by streamlining positions and hiring more AI experts. You could cash in on a $425 million Capital One settlement. A judge approving the payout this week. A lawsuit accused the company of paying lower interest rates on older savings accounts and not letting customers know there was a new high-yield option. Capital One customers who had a 360 savings account between September of 2019 and June of 2025 are eligible for payment. Payments will be made automatically, no filing needed.
Mortgage rates keep dipping for the third straight week. The 30-year fixed rate dropping to about 6.2%. That's the lowest level since mid-March. Experts believe the trend is tied to easing Treasury yields. However, they caution that housing affordability remains a challenge and energy prices expected to go up with warmer months on the way. Alexandria City Council will not move forward with a proposal to introduce Sunday parking meters. That means Sunday parking will remain free. Instead, the council decided to increase metered rates on all other days from $1.75 to $2.75. The city says that this will bring in $1.1 million in funding, which would cover the $726,000 budget shortfall.
Because it's just going to be too expensive. And, oh my gosh, I have to go run and pay the meter. I think what you're going to see is a lot more people using parking garages, so they just won't have to deal with parking situation otherwise.
Parking ticket fines are also going up from $40 to $55. Final budget adoption happens April 29th.
Coming up, the White House nearing a deal to save the struggling Spirit Airlines from going out of business.
Also still to come, and we're going to take you on a ride on a historic carousel that just opened on the National Mall. But first, hey, Mike.
All right, we love the 80s today, and we're going to get some more around the region tomorrow before a cold front brings some cooler weather in for the weekend. We're tracking some rain showers as well. Do you need to move those weekend plans indoors? We'll let you know right after this break.
A firefighter whose truck collided with an Air Canada jet at LaGuardia Airport last month was told to stop before the crash. That is according to a new NTSB report, which says that the driver didn't know the air traffic control warning was for them. It adds a crash prevention system. Didn't make an audio or visual alert in the control tower. The crash killed both pilots inside that plane. Around 40 others were taken to the hospital.
The White House is reportedly closing in on a rescue plan for Spirit Airlines. Under the agreement, the U.S. government would loan Spirit as much as $500 million. In exchange, the government would take partial ownership, similar to the 10% stake of Intel it acquired last year. Spirit has been struggling to emerge from a second bankruptcy as it battles rising costs, including a major spike in jet fuel prices.
The aviation industry is very important to this president and this White House. Millions of Americans depend on it. We want to see the best possible outcome.
Meantime, lawmakers on both sides of the aisle are pushing back against the plan, saying the government should not be in the business of running a low-cost airline. One of the largest mergers in entertainment history is one step closer to reality. Shareholders for Warner Brothers Discovery approving an $81 billion deal to sell the company to Skydance, and Paramount, which owns CBS, wants to buy all of Warner, which includes HBO Max, CNN, and many popular film franchises. The deal still needs government regulatory approval.
All right, 10:46 as we take another look outside on this Thursday night. A nice shot there of the White House as we get you closer to the weekend. What can we expect? Those changes in store in 10 seconds with Mike Thomas.
Well, after such a nice Thursday, why don't we do it again on Friday, at least partially? Those 80s, they're back. It's going to feel nice and warm as we wrap up this work week. The bad news, we're dodging some showers and some thunderstorms, especially later in the afternoon and through the evening hours. And it'll probably trail right through the overnight and into Saturday as well. Saturday looks cloudy, much cooler with highs in just the 50s and 60s across the D.C. region. And then Sunday, I've made some adjustments just within the last 15 minutes here as I've seen some new data come in. I've had to cool Sunday down. We're probably not going to make it out of the 50s around here on Sunday afternoon. So a much cooler weekend incoming after a very warm end to your work week. Traffic flowing good on the Case Memorial Bridge. Jefferson all aglow in the background. Nice night, 72 degrees, partly cloudy skies. Winds light out of the south at the moment at just 5 miles per hour. They'll be shifting out of the north and east and eventually east as well as we work our way into the weekend. That's what's going to bring in the cooler temperatures. Right now, as mentioned, temps in the 70s still in Washington, but everybody else falling through the 60s. 66 Upper Marlboro, 68 for Waldorf and La Plata, 66 Colonial Beach, Montrose at 67, Lindentown 65. Their neighbors in Prince Frederick and Calvert County, they're 67, Riva 64, Beltsville and Bowie 61, Germantown 64, into Northern Virginia, Haymarket 61, while Fairfax is at 67. Leesburg and Lovettsville in Loudoun County, they're in the middle 60s as well. Satellite radar has been quiet most of the day, just some fair weather clouds passing on by. Only the mountain zones have had to deal with the occasional shower and even rumble of thunder up there in Garrett County, but those are trying to fade away more and more as they approach the West Virginia Panhandle. Tomorrow, as mentioned, some clouds mixing with sunshine, but a nice start to the day. It's the afternoon hours when, you see that thunderstorm symbol around 3 o'clock, and even though it suggests it might be drier 6 or 9, I'll tell you, I'd fill this in with at least the threat for some scattered showers, maybe even still a rumble of thunder through the evening hours as well. I showed you Futurecast a little while ago, and you could see it was hit and miss stuff throughout the course of the evening. So they take that into account if you have evening plans. It's not a washout for sure, but there will be a couple of areas that have to deal with some downpours. Milder pattern fading away on us, and this cutoff low setting up near Nova Scotia and across the North Atlantic will help steer the upper level winds out of the north and out of the west there, straight down out of Canada, and that'll bring some cooler stuff aloft as well. We're going to start pushing in some cooler air right off the Atlantic with an eastern wind at the surface here. By the weekend, you can see Saturday morning, a lot of clouds around, some drizzle on the Fox model, and as we get into the afternoon, that's when rain showers could be a little bit more widespread, and as a wave of low pressure starts to develop to our south, we could increase to a steady rain around here as we head towards your nighttime hours on Saturday. So not the best looking day. We'll also have, as mentioned before, those cooler temperatures. Now by Sunday, that wave of low pressure gets off the coastline. We could start the day with some leftover showers and drizzle, but by the afternoon, we do think it's drying out. Western zone Jones may break in the sunshine first. We'll see some partial sunshine here late in the day in D.C. before clearing things out as we get into the day on Monday. So high Saturday, just 60 degrees here, Washington, 65 London Town, same deal Quantico, 71 Fredericksburg. But notice as we change over to Sunday how much cooler everyone is. That wave of low pressure drags colder air down, and that just makes Sunday a cooler day. I'll call it mostly cloudy, but I do think late in the day, drier air does mix in enough to break up the cloud deck, and we'll see some sunshine. This is also the last weekend. Saturday, sun goes down 7:55, and then the sun starts setting. Tongue twister there. After 8 o'clock at night, as we get ready to start the month of May, 8:02 by that first Saturday in the new month, and then second Saturday there, 8:08 p.m. So we're getting close to the summer, and the sun is certainly showing you that in just how long it's in the sky this time of year. 60 on Saturday, down to 58 on Sunday. We'll rebound Monday to near 70 with sunshine giving way to late day clouds. Next week, unsettled, kind of seasonal temps there, but we will have to dodge some raindrops, which honestly we desperately need. We don't want to dodge them. Severe drought's getting worse. We'll talk more about that coming up at 11 o'clock tonight. Ladies?
All right, Mike, thanks. Well, families enjoyed Take Your Child to Work Day in Montgomery County. One big event took place in Gaithersburg at the Police Training Academy. Besides some fun, children got a chance to actually see the important work that their loved ones do to protect and serve the community. Some kids say they may even follow in their parents' footsteps now.
I might. I've been thinking, like, if my plan, him and I have a plan for being for making a pizza shop, but if that doesn't work out, I'm thinking I might join the army. Yeah. I mean, maybe. Yeah, it's just been always a possibility.
I had so much fun.
Organizers say that they hope to keep the tradition going for the next generation.
So precious.
Yeah, I love that.
An historic carousel that a group of children in Baltimore helped desegregate in the 1960s, now reopening on the National Mall.
Yeah, a new generation of kids are now enjoying the refurbished carousel. Photojournalist Nelson Jones takes us there.
I'm gonna get a unicorn.
Carousel is back on the mall after 3 or so years in renovation. We're really pleased to have it back.
This is so cool. I'm great. I'm in a mom's group with a bunch of other moms who live on Capitol Hill, and I've told all of them about it because it's absolutely amazing.
Tell me about your horse.
The horse.
That's it.
Yeah, it's a horse.
Look at me, Griffin. Not looking at me. There we go. Thank you.
It was quite a challenge. A lot of the horses were in disrepair. The bodies of the horses are wood. The tails and the heads of the horses are metal. So they had to be stripped down, had to be repaired, parts had to be replaced. We took our careful time to make sure it was restored accurately. For all of our guests who are maybe in a wheelchair, they can come on and ride inside the chariot and have the same experience.
What you gonna be, bud?
Skeleton.
I've had all sorts of adults come to me and say, I remember this carousel when I was a kid, and I can't wait to bring my children. So now's the opportunity to bring your children down to the mall, right outside of our Arts and Industries building, and enjoy the carousel.
Ben's Chili Bowl giving its famous mural on U Street a makeover. It's all part of their reopening that's set for May 1st. The restaurant has been closed for repairs since last summer. From now through May 10th, the local chain is taking online suggestions for historical figures. Currently, the famous mural features former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama, plus Prince, Harriet Tubman, and so many other icons.
Well, I would like to see Marvin Gaye, Felicia Rashad, John Lewis. They're all from D.C. They've all impacted my life in some way, but I'd also like to keep all the people who are already on there.
The mural was last repainted in 2017.
I mean, there's so many names. Like, you have to have
Go on
a
and on.
massive wall, right? All right, coming up, if you've been sneezing lately, you're not alone. Where D.C. ranks in a list of sneeziest cities. We'll talk about it next. All right, back now with the 5 things you need to know. Famous pyramids in Mexico reopening with extra security days after a deadly shooting. One Canadian tourist died. Dozens of people were injured right outside of Mexico City. Police say that the lone gunman killed himself with no word of a motive. JetBlue accused of using personal data of passengers to raise ticket prices. A customer filing a class action lawsuit claiming the airline charges different prices based on browsing and data behavior. JetBlue denying the claim, saying that fares are set by availability and demand. Drug maker Regeneron strikes a new deal with the White House to lower prices. President Trump says Regeneron will cut costs of current and all future drugs on Medicaid. The company will also sell Praluent, a cholesterol drug, for $225 on Trump's discounted drug website, TrumpRx. Right in the middle of allergy season, the nation's capital ranks as the 4th sneeziest city. That's according to Thumbtack, the company that lists handymen reviewed demands based on allergy-related home projects. Atlanta took the top spot as the sneeziest city. And if you're not a Michael Jackson fan, beat it. Memorabilia like his gloves from the Bad Tour and a hat and sequin jacket from the Victory Tour are just some of the dozens of pieces up for auction. 50 items will be under the hammer near Paris in June. The Swarovski-encrusted glove worn during multiple Billie Jean performances is going for more than $175,000. All right, don't go anywhere. I will see you on the Final 5 late tonight at 11:30, but the news at 11 starts right now.
Right now on Fox 5 News at 11, billowing smoke as a Metro bus catches fire, sending emergency crews scrambling to evacuate people out of harm's way. Plus, a substitute teacher in custody accused of threatening violence against a local school. How police managed to get the drop on the suspect arrested on school grounds. And also, it's NFL draft night, and the Commanders have already selected their first pick. We're checking in with fans at a watch party to see how they feel about the team's choice. Fox 5 News at 11 starts right now. Breaking news off the top tonight. One person rushed to the hospital in life-threatening condition after a house fire in Fairfax County. The flames broke out at this home on San Carlos Drive right around 9 tonight. Fire crews tell Fox 5 4 other people made it out of the home safely. Fire investigators are on the scene working to determine the cause. And developing tonight in the district, the 9th Street tunnel remains shut down after a Metro bus caught fire inside, shooting plumes of black smoke into the air and sending dozens of people sprinting to safety. Fox 5's Sydney Persing is at the scene now with the very latest.
Well, the headline of the night and really the blessing of the night is that nobody was injured. This Metro